2024 on matters sustainable development is a motion by Senator Hamida Kibwana that the Senate adopts or Senate notes the report of the Senate delegation to the high-level political forum of 2024 on sustainable development that was held in New York in the United States from the 8th to the 17th of July 2024, laid on the table of the Senate on the 20th of February 2025. Allow me to hand over back to the chamber. Enjoy your viewing.
All the senators, let's now transact business. We are properly constituted this morning. So, clerk, read out the first order.
Order number 1, administration of oath.
Next order.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
Next order.
Order number 4, petitions.
Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
Next
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Next.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Honorable Senators, today being a Wednesday morning session, we shall have CSEs coming to respond to questions from the senators. And this morning we were expecting 3 CSEs. One, the CS for environment, climate change, and forestry. I'm told she's allowed the presence of Parliament, and then to answer the question by Senator Murango, Senator for Kirinyaga County. And then we were expecting the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury and Economic Planning. I am now seized of a letter from him that you will not be able to attend, and because he has some other prior engagements that he had scheduled. Then we are also expecting the CS for loans, transportation, and public works, and understand he is also lended to engage the Senate this morning. So with that, that is the position. So yeah, we'll be engaging the 2 CSEs. Clerk, is the CS for environment ready? There are senators also who want to, I don't know what, they want to make comments on my communication. Senator Manzo.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker, I was just wanted to confirm whether the Minister in charge of roads is available, and I had also seen Senator Murango is not here. Is there a possibility of interchanging the CSs so that when Senator Murango is available, otherwise you cannot ask a CS a question when the senator is not available?
No.
Or maybe I sent somebody to...
Senator Murango, as you know, is very organized.
Yes.
So he is already... he has assigned Senator Wakiri to read the question on his behalf.
Kindly, Mr. Speaker, confirm whether the Minister in charge of roads is also...
You shouldn't be reasoning to the chair when I'm communicating. If you are attentive, I address to the 3 CSEs. I send CS Environment, have your seat. CS Environment is ready within the building, CS Treasury is not available, and CS Loans is available. That's what I said. Senator Sifuna.
Honorable Speaker, I think we had agreed on certain basic rules of decorum when cabinet secretaries are asking for, an adjournment of their appearance. First, the letter that you have referenced with regard to the cabinet secretary for Treasury. I didn't hear you giving the reason why he's saying he's not coming. And did I hear you correctly saying that the letter came this morning? I think, Honorable Speaker, we had set certain rules that indeed if a CS is unable to come, they need to communicate earlier and not on the day of the sitting. And secondly, that they have to state proper reasons for the absence, because this is also an important exercise. You can't just say I'm not available. So maybe you can clarify for me those two issues, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Sifuna, I clearly explained the reason, and I saw your eyes were really, we were on contact with you when I was giving the communication. And I said that the letter says, however, given other prearranged official engagements, I will not be in a position to attend the Senate plenary as scheduled. That's the explanation that I have in this letter. But unfortunately now the CS environment is here and I don't want to engage on that discussion when we have a visitor, unless if she gives us 5 minutes to settle that matter with the senators.
Honorable Speaker, it is good that she hears what we have to say, because she's a colleague in the cabinet. And this very fate might befall her one day. Honorable Speaker.
So that she can also know what will before her in case she doesn't respond.
Yeah, and to communicate to cabinet. You know, many of us are football fans, Honorable Speaker. We stayed up very late last night to watch a game, but had the fortitude to wake up very early to come.
Which game was that, and what were the results? Was they
there was an Arsenal versus Madrid game, and
yeah, what
Arsenal,
are the results?
Arsenal by some fluke scored 3 goals inexplicably. No, the Speaker has asked a question. By a fluke, Honorable Speaker, Arsenal were able to score 3 goals. So, Honorable Speaker, the point I was making is that we stayed.
Now I can even give you more minutes if you talk nice of Arsenal. I can give you 3 more minutes.
I would rather just sit down, Honorable Speaker. I really have nothing nice to say as a Chelsea fan myself. But the point I was making, Honorable Speaker, is the point of communication. It's critical for us to, as a House, to set down a marker. That if there were prior engagements, the moment that the CS receives the letter, and he has prior arrangements on that date, it is only fair that he notifies the House that that day clashes with prior arrangements. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, what you have read is not an explanation. That's not an explanation. If you tell somebody that there were prior arrangements, that's not an explanation, that's not a reason. At least sometimes we hear some people say, oh, we had a meeting at State House or cabinet meeting at State House, or I am engaged in security operations somewhere. That is a reason. But what that letter states, in my very humble opinion, is contempt of this House.
Honorable Senators, let's do this. The CS for Environment has only one question. We engage her on that question. Once she exits, then as we transit to the time that was allocated for the CS Treasury, then I'll give you some minutes to ventilate on that matter. So let's utilize this time just to request, Madam CS, you know you are the very corner. Maybe you can move a bit, the Sergeant Atabs. Otherwise, I'm looking for love from. Yes, that's a better position for engagement. So, CS, welcome. I can see now you have come with another cap from the Minister of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry. Last time you were here, and I was also presenting. You are the CS for Health, and so welcome back to the Senate. I think this new docket is so friendly to anybody can be able to engage on matters of environment, because they are actually what we do every day. So you have one question from the Senator for Kirinyaga County, Senator Murango, question number 037. So I'll request Senator Wakili Sigei to stand on behalf of Senator Murango of that communication.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And I'm reading this question on behalf of Senator James Murango from Kirinyaga, pursuant to a letter of authorization dated 9th of April 2025, authorizing me to ask the question on his behalf. Madam CS, welcome to the Senate. And this is the question that the Honorable Senator for Kirinyaga, question number 37, has got for you. Could the Cabinet Secretary provide details on the ongoing tree harvesting in Kamuruana Hill Forest in Kirinyaga Central Constituency, stating whether the harvesting is legal and whether public participation was undertaken prior to the harvesting. Question B, what measures is the government implementing to assure the local community of environmental safety given the risks of deforestation in the context of climate change and its potential impact on the ecosystem? And question C, Madam CS asks you to give us steps that the ministry has taken to prevent deforestation and promote reforestation efforts across the country. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Madam CS, you can respond to the 3 questions simultaneously.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker and honorable members, for giving us the opportunity to address the questions and concerns that were given to us. Honorable Speaker, Kamuruana Hill Karaini, which is within Kangaita Forest Station, is located in Kirinyaga West Sub-County and covers an area of 23.87 hectares, composed of 14.7 hectares of Pinus patula, that is pine trees plantation, and 9.17 hectares of bush and grasslands, and is detached from the main forest block of Kangaita Forest. Honorable Speaker, with regards to harvesting in Kamuruana Hill Karaini Forest, I wish to clarify that there is no tree harvesting activities being undertaken on this hill. This can be confirmed by the latest satellite imagery and photos annexed A and B. And if and when this is going to take place, the Kenya Forest Service will be guided by the provision provided in the Forest Conservation and Management Act and any other relevant legislation such as MCA 1999, PAFMA, and Public Procurement and Assessment Disposal Act, with strict adherence to meaningful public participation. With regards to the question about the measures the government is implementing to assure local community of environmental safety, given the risk of deforestation in the context of climate change and its potential impacts on the ecosystem, Honorable Speaker, the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry is implementing strategic measures to guarantee environmental safety to the local communities. The measures are outlined in Section 48 of the Forest Conservation and Management Act 2016 and the National Environment Policy 2013. For example, in fulfillment of the legal environmental requirements as stipulated in the Environmental Management Coordination Act, MCA 1999, under the second schedule, Kenya Forest Service undertook an environmental impact assessment. The Mount Kenya Forest Ecosystem Environmental and Social Impact Assessment for Forest Plantations, Annexed 1. During the process of development of the EIA report, sufficient public participation was conducted, such as public participation report for the Mount Kenya Forest Ecosystem in Embu, Annexed 2. The scope of the environmental and social impact assessment was impact identification, mitigation measures, environmental management plan during harvesting, and safety measures. Refer to Chapter 6 of Annex 3 on potential environmental and social impacts and mitigation measures. The ESIA also provides guidance on seedling production, planting, management of plantations, process for disposal of mature plantations, harvesting and decommissioning. You can refer to Chapter 5.8 on project activities, and also provide for public participation in those areas. The Kenya Forest Service was subsequently issued with an EIA license to undertake the harvesting with accompanying conditions, Annex 4, as attached. Harvesting operations of plantations in the country
are guided by ESIA report on environmental and social safeguards. In order to address climate change and resilience, Kenya Forest Service is carrying out its afforestation and reforestation operational plan, which aims to restock harvested plantations and develop and restore degraded forest areas within natural forest ecosystem. This is part of the KFS Forest Conservation 2024-2025 Annual Work Plan, Annex 5. Specifically, on the medium-term 4 and beta priorities, the ministry has, number 1, finalized the development of National Forest Policy 2023 and the National Landscape and Ecosystem Restoration Strategy 2023-2032, mobilized resources and mainstreaming tree growing in all sectors, awareness creation and publicity. Thirdly, coordinated production of quality tree seeds towards achievement of 100 metric tons annually. Fourth, coordinated seedling production towards achievement of 1.5 billion annually. Number 5, coordinated growing of trees towards achievement of 1.5 billion annual targets. Number 6, recruited 2,664 forest rangers. 7, rehabilitated 61,256 hectares of degraded public natural forests. Established 10,763 hectares of public forest plantation. Fenced 1,190 kilometers of natural public forests. Rehabilitated 7,505.69 hectares of mangrove forest ecosystem, and rehabilitated 3,054 hectares of bamboo forests. Regarding the question about what steps the ministry has taken to prevent deforestation and promote reforestation efforts across the country, Honorable Speaker, in order to prevent deforestation across the country, the ministry has, number 1, through the KFS, that's the Kenya Forest Service, recruited, trained, and deployed 2,664 forest rangers, 474 foresters across all the forest stations for protection and surveillance to enhance survival of planted seeds, Annex 6. The recent recruitment of forest rangers, forest officers, and cadets has been a game changer, achieving a significant reduction in illegal forest activities which contribute to deforestation. The ministry again deployed a multi-agency security team to enforce and eradicate illegal logging and charcoal production. There is enhanced surveillance and patrols. KFS has intensified surveillance efforts, including aerial monitoring and ground patrols, to deter illegal activities. These measures have contributed to a reduction in illegal logging and charcoal production as communities become more aware of the importance of forest conservation, Annex 7. Legal enforcement, individuals apprehended for engaging in illegal logging and charcoal production face legal consequences, including fines and other penalties. This strict enforcement serves as a deterrent to others considering involvement in such activities. For the regulatory measures, the ministry has drafted regulations to regulate charcoal production. Proposed legislation mandates the registration and licensing of all commercial charcoal producers, requiring them to obtain permits before engaging in production. These regulations prohibit charcoal production in ecologically sensitive areas and impose strict guidelines on packaging and labeling to enhance transparency and traceability within the charcoal market. To enhance community involvement in forest conservation, the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry will unveil a 24-hour toll-free number for reporting illegal forest activities, including logging and illegal charcoal burning. This initiative encourages citizens to to actively participate in safeguarding forest resources by reporting suspicious activities. Number 7, the ministry has held a series of community sensitization meetings in illegal logging and charcoal producing areas to promote forest conservation and management under the Participatory Forest Management Arrangements Annexed 8. The ministry has also undertaken fencing of 1,190 kilometers of public forests in this financial year 2024-2025. The ministry has promoted controlled grazing through grazing plans across the forest stations. The ministry, through KFS, has an elaborate fire management plan which entails establishment of smoke detection system, digital radio communication, and supply of firefighting equipment. Honorable Speaker, and on reforestation efforts, the ministry is spearheading the National Landscape and Ecosystem Restoration Strategy and is actively participating in the 15 billion tree growing national initiative in partnership with partners, stakeholders, and county governments. The exercise restores degraded ecosystems while boosting climate resilience. In the 15 billion tree growing initiative, every county has an obligation to grow a given number of trees over the next 10 years. To ensure production of quality tree seedlings, certified seeds are sourced from authorized seed provider KEFRI for quality assurance. The ministry, through KFS and other agencies such as KEFRI, is raising tree seedlings in tree nurseries and offering technical advice to community forest associations, timber manufacturers association, farmers, and other stakeholders on good tree nursery practices to ensure quality seedlings production. Through KFS, active reforestation is being undertaken in gazetted forest areas, while on the other hand, technical support is being provided to support tree planting in private farmlands and community forests. Reforestation within plantation areas is a continuous program and conforms to the plantation forest management plans to replant the open areas created after harvesting. This is Annex 10. Sensitizing the public on species to site matching ensures that the public plants the right tree species in their suitable ecological zones, thus enhancing survival and growth of the planted trees. The species site matching is also outlined in the Jaza Miti app, an online tree planting reporting platform that is Annexed 11. Provision of advice on optimal tree planting time based on meteorological weather forecasts is routinely conducted, and strengthening governance in participatory forest management. The development of frameworks and guidelines on economic alternatives for communities, such as commercialization of non-forest products. Supporting adoption of multi-purpose tree species to reduce pressure on public forests, such as provision of guidelines for growing of Melia volkesi, that is Mukau in the Asal region, which is Annex 12 for growing of Melia. The development of partnership in tree growing with various stakeholders in adopting forests through framework of collaboration agreements. And continuous public awareness creation on opportunities and incentives on tree growing, such as the carbon credit schemes, value chains in commercial and agroforestry. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and honorable members.
Thank you. So, Senator Wakili, on behalf of Senator Murango, you have now an opportunity to ask 2 supplementary questions to the CS. Proceed.
Thank you once again, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, Honorable CS, for the response that you have shared with the House as regards the questions from Honorable Senator Murango. Mr. Speaker, I've got two supplementary questions. One is with regards to the clarification, the need to have a clarification from the CS under Annex 1A, because the question is asking about harvesting. The answer is that there is no harvesting. I've looked at the Annex under A in response from the Honorable CS, and under A, there is a time stamp as to when that Google map of Kamuruana Hill Forest was pulled out. That is actually the 8th of April 2025. I do not know what time that was, but then my supplementary question emanates from Annex B, which two maps do not have a time stamp as to when they were printed out. Could the Honorable CS confirm whether the same is within the time span or the date of the 8th of April, or it could have been something that was just taken for purposes of responding to this question? And a supplementary question number 2, Honorable CS, is with regards to the answer to question 37C on what the ministry has taken to prevent deforestation and promote reforestation efforts across the country. The answer appearing at page 6 has listed several action points the ministry has undertaken, and my supplementary question is from point Roman 8, where the ministry has undertaken fencing of 1,190 kilometers of public forest in this financial year. I would like to know from the Honorable CS the efforts the ministry has put in place to ensure that such fence are protected and are able to last for a reasonable timeline. I'm saying this, Honorable Speaker, because I come from Bomet County, and there is a forest called Chepalungu Forest, which was fenced last year. And I can report, Honorable CS, that within a period of 4 months, almost a quarter of the section of the forest had already either collapsed or could easily be accessible by the public, meaning it will not serve the purpose. And secondly, the aspect in ensuring the promotion of controlled grazing through grazing plans has not been fully implemented. I'm saying this also with regard to that particular forest, Chepalungu Forest, especially Siongiroi area, where it has been reduced into a toll station, where rangers have allowed farmers to take their cows for grazing into the forest with unregulated arrest and unregulated fines imposed on farmers. Farmers within that particular forest, and I believe across the country, would also be subjected to illegal arrest, where rangers have used the opportunity, where there is a plan in place to make sure that they get to obtain money illegally from those who are involved in grazing of the animals within the forest because of this particular plan. How have you put in place a mechanism to ensure that this particular arrangement is not misused? I've given you the example of the Chepalungu Forest in my county, where that practice is rampant. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Madam CS.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, Honorable Members. So I wish to clarify that the pictures were taken yesterday. And secondly, regarding the concerns on the fencing, we are working with the Community Forest Association, and the key components that we are looking into is the maintenance of the fencing. Again, we have rangers, as we've said, to ensure that there is security and the forests are protected. Equally, we have the grazing plan. So a comprehensive report can also be shared in the concerns of mitigation of the same. Thank you.
Senator Wakili.
The Honorable CS has not answered that second limb of the question. I would have expected her to make an indication as to whether she's got no specific response on a mechanism put in place, and give us a timeline. For example, if she desires to retreat and establish what such mechanisms are.
That's on the grazing?
Yes, on the grazing plans. She acknowledged that they exist. She equally acknowledged that there exist also rangers, but did not give an answer or even sought for a specific timeline within which she can do that.
So we kindly request, Honorable Chair, you give us 7 days to have a comprehensive report to share with you on what we are doing to address the concern.
Also, as you do that from the chair, also give this House the role of the CFEs in forest conservation and management. What is their role? Because it is in the Act, Forest Management Act 2016. What is the role of CFEs in the forest management? Because that is where the forest management and also the grazing rights to access the forest in the communities. That is where now the question comes from in Cheparungu Forest, because that grazing is not well coordinated. And it is in law that the community should be able to access forest through the CFAs. So maybe as you do that, the 7 days, give us a comprehensive statement or response to that effect.
Thank you.
Okay, Senator Wakiri, are you comfortable now? Very well. Yeah, that is a case study, Cheparungu Forest. Also in relation also to the forest in Kirinyaga. Yeah, so members, you have a chance to ask only one supplementary question. Senator Paul Karungo Dango.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My question is actually close to what Senator Sigei, on behalf of Senator Murango, asked about the illegal logging. And it's happening in Karura Forest, that is on Kiambu Road near DCI, and it's also happening in Dogoto Forest. And Mr. Speaker, when Kenya Forestry Service was asked about this illegal logging in January 2025, they assured the public that the ongoing activities are part of the well-planned forest management. And they also assured that they are going to plant trees between March and May, and you are now in April. There are no planting of trees in those two forests, that's Togoto and Karura. It's not happening. And the illegal logging is continuing at an alarming rate, Mr. Speaker. And they're saying they are cutting for domestic fuel. You know, if you're doing for domestic fuel, you give the woods and the timber and the trees trunks to the neighbors there. But we see trucks, big trucks, taking these logs away, Mr. Speaker. So can she clarify what is happening?
A few more questions because they might be related in one way or the other. As Professor Tom Ojenda, Senator Kisumu. Then Senator Onyong Kalicha.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to also just mention to the CS, I do not know whether she's aware and the team she's with that if you go to roughly 7 counties of Western Kenya, you're talking about Trans Nzoia, you're talking about Kakamega, you're talking about Siaya, Kisii, Homa Bay, and I believe, if I'm not sure, Bomet could also be included. There is a Chinese company that is cutting trees indiscriminately, packaging those trees into trucks and shipping them off to China. I remember very, very clearly, the president once came to Kisii and he said, we don't want to be exporting raw materials. We want to make sure that if there's anything to be done, let it be processed on site so that there is value addition, so that we can employ our people, and so that we can be responsible. I don't know whether the CS is aware of this, and if she is, what is the strategy, the plan? For example, the individuals, Mr. Speaker, the company, the Chinese individuals who are cutting these trees, nobody knows who they are. Nobody understands who they represent. Nobody has ever told us the purpose of the cutting of those trees indiscriminately. And you remember, Speaker, even in Meru, historically, once trees are cut, then they have to be replanted. There is no strategy for replanting of trees or any other fauna and flora which is being destroyed. Finally, the environment, Mr. Speaker, when these trees are being cut, they are actually causing an environmental hazard. Why? Because they leave all the offcuts and the materials on site and they move out, going to the other side. I just wanted the Minister to help so that we can understand what's going on. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Let's get the last one on this round from Senator Mugatana Danson.
Thank you, Waziri. Thank you for visiting us in Tana River County in your previous capacity. Mr. Speaker, the question I have is about data. On 22nd December 2022, an initiative was launched in the Ministry of Environment, and it was led by none other than His Excellency the President. And this initiative was very good because we are supposed to be planting 15 billion trees between 2022 and 2032. That means every year we are supposed to be doing 1.5 billion. So this being 2025, we are supposed to be doing 4.5 billion from 2022. What I want to know, Mr. Speaker, is how many trees have been planted in the county of Tana River and generally in Kenya. And Mr. Speaker, when you look at SHA in the Ministry of Health where our Cabinet Secretary served before, there is a data platform. So every single day in real time, even any Kenyan can enter that data and know how many people have registered every single day. What I want to know is how many trees have been planted. And if this is not being done, how sure are we of the numbers that you're announcing here? How, Mr. Speaker, can we have a plan of data collection so that we speak with seriousness on this matter? It is a generational issue, and we would like to know whether the minister is actually keeping that data and what happened to that initiative. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Senators, as you have realized, the last three questions were not related to the answer that the CSN come to answer. But of course, she has answered your questions. So I think from where she sits, it might not be possible to give the data or the information on all the questions. So from where I sit again as your chair, maybe there are some questions that she can be able to answer right away. Others like that one, which needs accurate data of how many trees. She cannot maybe use her phone to give you that data now. So as we ask these questions, let us be also live that she might not be having answers right away to our questions. But I'm giving you some real at least to ask your questions because the CS is your CS, the CS representing this country in the ministry. So at least some of the questions she can just note and also give commitment. She did so well with the other issue on Bomet Cheparungu Forest. She gave a commitment of 7 days to give the plans they have on the grazing in the forests. So members, as you ask, don't expect answer now. And I'm not defending the CS, but you remember our standing order says you ask a question which is related to the primary question. But I'm giving you that 3 or at least to ask questions which are very relevant in the forest management. So next is, no, answer those 3 questions first. Yes.
Yes, thank you very much. And as been said, Honorable Speaker, we want to do a comprehensive, a detailed, share with you a detailed and a comprehensive report when it comes to tree planting. That way we can all be on the same page moving forward where we are as a country in terms of achieving our 15 billion tree plantation. And so we want to assure you that we have the Jazamiti app, which is a data-driven where we are monitoring. Currently we have 783 million trees planted. 652 have already been incorporated into this app, and 131 have been manually collected. So in this app, again, we are monitoring the growth to ensure that these trees are really thriving and they are viable. And so we'll be able to share with you the comprehensive report per county. And what we have had several discussions is that every month, every county should have a report on how many trees they have been able to plant vis-a-vis what has been targeted. So I can assure you that this comprehensive report, again, will be shared within 7 days. And again, there is no illegal logging. That I can assure you. And planting is ongoing, and I believe that this comprehensive report will cover that to really, give you evidence, tangible evidence of the number of trees. We have even GIS, geomapping of where the trees are. We are even able to show the coverage all over the country as the years progress where we'll be having. So this, no illegal logging, this has been stopped. The concerns with the Chinese company, it was happening, but that has been stopped. We can even share the letters showing evidence that none of that is going on at the moment. So, Honorable Speaker, we kindly request to share a comprehensive report with tangible evidence, and we assure the members that we'll be sharing monthly reports so that they can be informed on what is going on in matters of tree planting within the country. Thank you.
You touch on the Karura Forest, what is happening in Karura Forest?
Yes, Karura Forest, no illegal logging, and what we can do is even have touring together and also meet with the communities around, discuss and engage so that you can be fully informed that none of that is going on there. Thank you.
Okay, Senator Karungo, you have been invited to that trip to Karura Forest to go and access what is happening there.
Mr. Speaker, that is where I pass every day. I do not require invitation. And the issue of Karura and the issue of Dogoto, I even have videos that I can forward to Madam CS. So I think I need a comprehensive report. I don't need to visit. I pass there every day on my way to work.
So together with what she will be comparing for the other questions, I think she will be able also to, actually she has mentioned that she will do a comprehensive report of the whole country, forest by forest, acreage by acreage, so that now we can tackle this matter awesomely. Therefore, so that we don't ask a forest in Kakamega, a forest in Nyandarua, a forest in, we want a comprehensive report of all the forested areas in Kenya. So I'll be requesting if maybe you are still asking on a forest in that part of the country where you come from, we wait for that report. But if Senator Sifon, you feel you have a different question, then I'll allow you to ask. So the rest, maybe we wait for the...
Honorable Speaker, allow me to help my neighbor, the senator from Kiambu. You see, Honorable Speaker, the senator for Kirinyaga asked the cabinet secretary to give details of ongoing tree harvesting in Kamurwana Hill Forest. The answer that the CS gave was that there is no such activity going on. The senator for Kirinyaga, as I know him, he's not a madman. I am sure there is somewhere from which this question originates. Madam CS, the problem we have with this ministry is that you do not communicate. And in fact, it is the entire government. This government is unable to communicate. The problem with Karura, Honorable CS, is that instead of the ministry ahead of time telling the people of Nairobi and the country that we will be doing harvesting of mature trees next week so that everybody is on the same page, you wait until we are sent videos online of felling of trees, then we see a statement from Kenya Forest saying, oh, that is us. The problem is communication. We wake up one day and we can see people clearing sections of Ngong forest on the southern bypass. Then when we ask, oh, that is us. I think that is where the problem is. So you need to tell us as a ministry, what is your policy on communication when you want to do tree planting, tree harvesting? Why can't you tell the country in advance? The senator for Kiambu is not a madman. We have seen you felling trees in Karura.
What is your supplementary question, Senator Sifuna?
So the question is...
Just a minute, Senator Mandago. Just continue. I've asked you to ask you a supplementary.
Honorable Speaker, why am I being heckled by people from Wasinigishu? We are talking about Karura. I don't even know whether he knows where Karura Forest is. Can he allow us to engage this? Yes. Why am I being heckled by people from Wasinigishu? When it comes to forests in Elbagon or wherever it is, you can ask your question. Chair, the reason we were concerned, me and my brother from Kiambu here, Honorable Speaker, Karura Forest is at the heart of the people of Nairobi and Kiambu. So what is the communication policy? Do you wait until Twitter tells us, Sifuna, there is logging going on in Karura before you give a statement? Why can't you tell us these trees don't mature by surprise? I am sure the forest department knows how long it takes a tree to mature and when it will be due for harvesting. Why can't you tell us in advance instead of waiting for Twitter to tell us that trees are being felled, then you come and say, oh, that is us?
That question is not different with what was asked by Senator Karongo and the rest. Senator Kinyua, she will answer together with several other questions from other members.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is, this planting of trees, Mr. Speaker, is it a PR exercise or we are committed to it? Because in Laikipia County in particular, a place called Kauka, the minister then, Mr. Njero, planted trees. We went there to plant trees, but that place, as we speak right now, there is no single tree because the elephant went there and they destroyed everything. This year again, the governor was there, plus the cabinet, not the cabinet, but the PS, I can't remember which PS, they planted trees. So my question is it a public PR exercise to plant trees? And when we talk about planting trees, how many have we planted? It is not how many have we planted, how many have survived, Mr. Speaker? Because every time we talk about planting trees, but we don't know how many are surviving. Every time, Mr. Speaker, we are told trees are planted, there is a day set for planting trees. Is it planting trees, Mr. Speaker, or is it the number of trees that have survived? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
What you're asking is, are we planting trees or growing trees? Growing. Because if you grow, you must tender those seedlings from the onset until maturity. So maybe your question is, are we growing trees or planting? You can plant and go, but growing, your eyes are there full time, so that you can be able to nurture them. Senator Nduro, Fatuma.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and Waziri. Mr. Speaker, my question is on Madenge, and I hope Waziri understands what Madenge is. And previously, Madenge was introduced more specifically to northern Kenya to actually control desertification. But this plant is causing a lot of havoc in many parts of northern Kenya. I have repeated this question even in the last Senate, because the communities living in those areas, they are unable to graze even their animals because of Madenge. Number two, the communities have requested the Ministry of Environment to be allowed to burn charcoal from those plants so that at least they can control Madenge growing. There were...
Tanduro, the senator representing Nyeri County is wondering whether it is him or who are you referring to? Is it Madenge, senator for Nyeri, or Madenge 3?
No. Mr. Speaker, Madenge is Madenge plant. What is called Prosopolis or something like that.
It's called Prosophis juliflora.
Exactly. You are right. It looks like you have done environmental science or whatever it is.
That's my area. You know, I can
Oh,
lecture you.
thank you. So me, I've not done that. So, Mr. Speaker, it's not Madenge a person, but it's Madenge the plant. What I really wanted to know from the minister, I'm sure she's new in the ministry, but the DG Forest is there, the minister, the PSS are there. Us people living in northern Kenya, we have a lot of challenges. Those trees are dangerous. They are even poisonous. They are killing our animals. I want to know whether the ministry has plans to allow the communities living in those areas to burn charcoal from those plants, or what plans do they have to control those plants? I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Last one from Senator Seki.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also want to request to understand from the Cabinet Secretary on the issue of Ololua Forest in Ngong and Kajiado North. That sometimes back, Honorable Speaker, we had a big problem on Ololua Forest where there are quite a number of intruders who encroached the forest and blocked the grazing and animals taking water from the river nearby. And I wanted to know the status of that encroachment, particularly on the area of Ololua. Could she just tell us what are the plans the ministry has done to make sure that that encroachment has been protected and even those people have been put in books? Otherwise, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Madam CS, you can answer those 4 interventions.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker and honorable members. Indeed, these are quite interesting questions, of which some of them would require us to sit down in order to give you quite a comprehensive report, which we are again assuring you. That way we have tangible evidence and ensuring that we are all in the same page. Regarding the Karura Forest, there has been adequate communication by the KFS and Friends of Karura through their social pages. There is also a public notice in all gates in Karura Forest whenever the activities occur. Again, for the concerns about the planting, we are not planting, but we are growing trees as a ministry. And maybe what I forgot to say is that from the 783 million trees that we have planted, what we have noticed is there's an 85% survival rate for the trees in 3 years, meaning 85% of the trees are actually surviving. And what we are also monitoring is how many are being cut down. That way we don't have a negative net. So that is part of the communication, that is part of the report that we will be sharing. And again, it will be categorized per county to ensure that everyone is well informed. For Laikipia, yes, we take note of the elephants that were able to destroy, and indeed they are a menace. And there is a fencing, electric fencing that has been installed by KWS to address the elephants' tree damage with the human and wildlife contact. So electric fence has been installed in that area. Regarding the Prosopis juliflora or Madenge, we have actually drafted a CAB memo, and it will very soon be tabled in the cabinet. It will provide a comprehensive report and approach through an interministerial committee to address this concern. And we know that it's currently affecting the 27 counties, and that is why we needed to have a comprehensive approach to this, and we will keep you informed on what will progress thereafter to address it. However, for the charcoal, yes, there's a draft charcoal regulation 2025 currently undergoing public participation, which will allow sustainable charcoal production. Thank you.
One from Senator Sekirenku, Ololua Folet. What is not in order? What is out of order? The CS or who? Let's first answer the question from Senator Seki.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the Ololua area is it is now protected. There are no illegal activities, no encroachment. As I said, we are happy to tour the area with you to ensure that, again, this is the case, because we are confident that now it is well protected.
The Cabinet Secretary alluded to the fact that that area mentioned, Kauka, is fenced off, which is not correct, Mr. Speaker. So maybe other areas of Laikipia, like for example, the areas of Moateto, that's why we are having electric fence. But the area mentioned, Kauka, Minor Village, all the way to Marmanet, that area, people are still being affected by those elephants. And I give her benefit of doubt, because she's new in the ministry, but at least she should give the correct information, Mr. Speaker.
But she has invited you to that visit. Maybe you can be able to comprehend.
I can't wait, Mr. Speaker, for the visit.
Yeah. Madam.
Yes, thank you, Speaker. Yes. What we had said is that the area is protected. It is not fully fenced. We have rangers around the area. And what we are saying is that we want to share a comprehensive report that is looking into the coverage with even the pictures. So we can have the pictorial component being addressed. That way we can be able to achieve the coverage that we require as a country.
Who do you want to inform? The CS?
Inform Kenya that protection is not necessarily an electric
He doesn't want
fence.
to be. He has declined the information that you have. Senator Matinga Ome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me this opportunity. Let me start by commending the CS in the short time she's been in the ministry. She is doing quite fine. Having said that, Mr. Speaker, and aware that the CS might not have internalized all the operations, however, there is an issue that we have been discussing in this House and in the country at large, and it is also a global issue that we thought that we as a country can leverage. And I, coming from a country that sits between two water towers, our effort and to ensure that we have comprehensive forest cover has been quite elaborate, and therefore there is a question that Mr. Speaker, I would want the CS to elaborate on, because it touches on the incentives that we are trying to leverage on, and that is the issue of the carbon credit. It is fully aware, Mr. Speaker, that even in this House we've passed laws that will ensure that that is operationalized. We were trying to bring the youth and to mainstream the young generation into ensuring that they take part in the afforestation of this country. And therefore, what we were promising to them is that these carbon credits will be a take-home for them. Could the CS tell us how she is planning to go ahead and implement that and operationalize that, so that this very great benefit is not lost to our young generation, whom we must mainstream in maintaining our ecosystem? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Ososi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, maybe before I ask the question, let me thank the CS for coming, even though she has been there for a very short time. She seems to be a quick learner on these things. Mr. Speaker, I would like to know from the CS the policy around sawmilling in the forests, because I have a situation in my county in Kibiri Forest, which is part of the larger Kakamega Forest, where the community is involved in the growing of trees, but then when it comes to sawmilling, they do not involve the community. They bring people from other parts of the country, from other counties, who come to do sawmilling. And yet these people have been involved in the growing of the trees, in taking care of the forest, but when it comes to now harvesting the trees, they bring contractors and sawmillers from other parts of the country. So what is the policy of the ministry on sawmilling and involvement of the community? Because, Mr. Speaker, I brought this matter before this House twice, and every time I'm being told that something is going to be done about it. But the situation is still the same, Mr. Speaker. So I would like to know from the Cabinet Secretary what steps they are taking. And Mr. Speaker, this question does not need her to go and research. This is a matter that has come here twice. What steps are they taking to ensure that the community is fully involved, not just in the growing of trees, but even in harvesting of trees when they are ready to be harvested? Mr. Speaker. Kibiri Forest.
Senator Mariam Sheikh Omar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, my question is, as the CS, when it comes to tree plantings, it involves both national governments and county governments. My question is, what measures or reward that the ministry have to give to encourage counties to plant more trees? Thank you.
Senator Manzo Daniel.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to ask the Honorable CS about the transportation of seedlings. After seedlings have been grown by the ministry, then they have to be transported to different areas for planting. And that has been a problem in Kilungu, Muka area, forests, where the farmers there who work with the forest department want to take these trees to primary schools to plant, especially in this rainy season. But there's been constant questions as to transportation. Do you help transport the seedlings to areas or forests that are going to be planted? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Lengwe Steve.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Cabinet Secretary, given the government of Kenya ambitious policy to plant 1 billion trees in the next 10 years, as part of the national government afforestation policy, could the Cabinet Secretary clarify how this policy aligns with the management and regulation of logging activities in private forests? Specifically, how does the government ensure that logging in private forests does not undermine the government efforts?
Senator Mandago Jackson.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I have a question to the Cabinet Secretary which we may not get an answer because it's not closely related, but it is endangering our forests. There is a plant called Kaskuda that is destroying the very trees that we plant if it is not checked, just like the Madenge plant Senator Dulo was talking about. It is going to become a disaster. We've seen the destruction that is going. What is the ministry doing? Or is there a chemical that can be sprayed? Or how can we get rid of this parasitic plant that is destroying our trees, Honorable Speaker?
I think that was the last question, but I don't, Senator Wakili, really, are you reappearing again now as the senator for Bomet, because you appeared as senator for on behalf of Mulango?
No, I
Okay.
was
Thank you
queuing
then. Thank you.
earlier on.
Thank you very much. Madam CS, just respond to those few interventions, and then we call it a day.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker and honorable members. Regarding the carbon credit, this is quite an elaborate report that would require extensive discussion, and we have the carbon regulations which are in place, and so we recommend again 7 days to prepare that report. For the sawmilling, the trees are disposed through open tender as per the Public Procurement Act. And again, we want to inform you that everybody is allowed to tender. And communities are encouraged and are allocated 30 to 60% of the same. And again, local licenses are considered at a ratio of 60 to 40. So for the transportation of seedlings, there is no budgetary provision for transport, but KFS will support also in the tree planting sessions. So we encourage the utilization of the same staff that we have as a ministry. The public has been sensitized regarding Honorable Mandago's question. It has been sensitized through KEFRI and CALPO, and there's discussions going on with the community. However, I believe that we will be sending a comprehensive report regarding the same as we had alluded to earlier. Thank you.
Senator Ososi, you know you are very passionate when you asked your question on the sawmillers in your county. But you are not even keen to listen to the answer that was provided. And you said you want a straight answer, not even to be given this to come and respond again.
Mr. Speaker, I'm very sorry. I was consulting with my party member here.
You know,
Senator
we are
Faki.
not now addressing party issues. We are listening to the responses from the CS. She came all the way to address our questions. Therefore, what she answered is that Madam CS, just take 1 minute to repeat what you said, because you should encourage sawmillers to participate in the tendering of the, when tenders are fruited. Madam CS.
Yes.
Yes. Just repeat what you said on the sawmillers in his county, Vihiga County.
Yes, for the sawmillers, the trees are disposed through open tendering as per the Public Procurement Act. And the concern about tendering, everybody is allowed to tender. And the communities are again encouraged. They are allocated 30 to 60% of the same. Again, the local licenses are considered for the community at a ratio of 60 to 40.
Good enough. No, there is no much time to exchange again. So I advise you to meet all your sawmillers in the county and advise them on the process. Also provide an officer so that he can be able to engage the sawmillers in Vihiga County and its environs. Senator Ososi, 30 seconds. I want
Mr.
to
Speaker,
conclude
the
this.
answer given by the Madam CS is that is a tendering process. Madam Speaker, the information I have is that, Mr. Speaker, sorry, Mr. Speaker, the information I have is that all the people who have been given the jobs, none of them is local. So where is the 30% the CS is referring to? And I have evidence that I can provide, Mr. Speaker, on that.
Madam CS.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Yes, for tendering, normally all those that are pre-qualified are the ones that receive license. So maybe the concern there is that they were not, they did not pass the pre-qualification. So maybe we could again discuss that further with our team here to identify what challenges they had when they were tendering. Yes.
I advise that, Madam CS, you task the county conservator.
Yes.
To engage this community so that they can understand what happens in the process. Because there is a county forest officer there, or conservator, who is stationed in your county. So just organize in a way that the conservator can be able to address those issues in Vihiga County and in other county that it needs that sensitization. So, honorable senators, we have come to the conclusion. Your issue was not addressed? Was it very technical?
Mr. Speaker, I asked about the government policy on logging on private forests. I didn't hear the feedback from the Cabinet Secretary. Thank you.
Logging in private forest.
Yes. So the regulations are underway. They are undergoing public participation to strengthen the private forests currently. And again, there are harvesting rules which provides a procedure for them to monitor the forests, and KFS and the county are working again together to ensure that there is compliance for the forests. So maybe you wait, we will also share a report within 7 days, giving you a comprehensive report on what we are doing for the private forests. But at a bird's eye view, what we can tell you is the regulations are undergoing public participation, and also we have rules and procedures in place, and KFS and county are also compliant to the rules, the very same rules. Thank you.
Senator Wambua, within less than 1 minute, what is your comment on the flogging?
I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for indulging me. Mr. Speaker, mine is just to provide some information to the CS about this rampant logging that is taking place across the country. Mr. Speaker, last weekend I was in Kitui, a ward called Tharaka, and these are Kenya Power people, restoring power lines. And Speaker, the level of felling of trees, in fact, if proper investigation is carried out, it may as well produce the results, Mr. Speaker, that in fact Kenya Power is doing serious damage to our forests. And the kind of trees that they are cutting down are trees that have been there for hundreds of years, simply just to provide wailing for power lines. And now, Mr. Speaker, this morning, I've just come from Nakuru, and Mr. Speaker, I've witnessed the same thing, felling of trees that clearly are not less than 50 years, 60 years old. Mr. Speaker, the ministry has got to do something about logging both in public forests and even in private forests. Otherwise, you're going to convert this country into a desert. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Madam CS, maybe you can comment on the indiscriminate logging or felling of trees by Kenya Power and Littering Company. Actually, Nairobi almost all the estates, especially the upper estates, they have done a lot of injustice to the same drive that we have of planting on 15 billion. So we are doing plus 100,000, then they are subtracting 200,000. So we are really progressing. Maybe if there is a policy at the cabinet level, how you can engage the Minister of Energy and the Minister of Environment. What other methods can we use to put our cables? Maybe even they are failing even in where they are content cables, they are still failing trees. So you don't understand what they are doing. But maybe you can make a comment as we wind up.
Yes. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The ministry has indeed reached out to the Ministry of Energy, and a technical working group has been established to address the issue. So we have Ministry of Energy and Health on board, Ministry of Energy and Environment on board to address the concerns to prevent the felling of trees. Yes.
As you do also the other report, you can include what has been agreed, because for sure we cannot move on that way in that direction. So maybe you can find out what has been agreed between the two ministries with the working group. How far are they on this matter, so that also we can be able to assist Kenyans. So, Honorable Senators, that is the end of engagement with the CS Environment. And thank you for finding time to appear to the Senate. We'll be waiting for that report as you have stipulated within the 7 days. So thank you very much. We are now free to move to other matters of nation building. Asanteni sana. Next online is the CS for loans and transport. Understand is around the building, so usher in the CS. Honorable Senators, we now have the CS for loans and transport. So CS, welcome to the Senate once again. You have been our frequent customer. So we have 6 questions for you this morning. And I will ask members to be as brief as possible, especially on the supplementary questions, because we have so many questions pending for the next few months. So we want to make sure that we utilize this hour, almost 2 hours, 1 hour, 50 minutes, to dispense of these 6 questions. So I'll ask the Senator for Marsabit County, Senator Mohamed Chute, to ask his question number 004. Senator Chute.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. My question goes to the Cabinet Secretary on the issue of airstrip in Marsabit. Question number one, Honorable Speaker, is why were operations halted at Sololo and Turbi airstrips in Marsabit County? And could the Cabinet Secretary outline any steps being undertaken to ensure the airstrips resume operations? Two, if there are any plans to relocate the airstrip, and if so, could the Cabinet Secretary explain why and provide timelines for the same? Three, would the Cabinet Secretary also state whether a comprehensive safety and aeronautical engineering assessment has been done and conducted in all airstrips in Marsabit County, and if so, disclose the findings, particularly in respect of the length of the runway at Marsabit Township, and outline measures taken to address any identified safety concerns. Number four, are there plans to upgrade or expand Marsabit Town airstrip and any other airstrip in Marsabit County? And if so, could the Cabinet Secretary disclose such plans and provide a timeline for the implementation? Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable CS will respond to the four issues raised together simultaneously. Not yet. Just a minute.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker and members of the Senate. Happy to be here this morning. Good morning. Thank you for the question from Honorable Chute, the Senator for Marsabit. Honorable Speaker, let me go straight to just answer the first question without reciting the question with respect to Sololo and Turbi airstrips. Mr. Speaker, sir, Sololo airstrip is a Code C aerodrome located in Sololo, Marsabit County. It features a gravel service runway measuring 1.2 kilometers or 1,200 meters in length and 20 meters in width, capable of accommodating aircraft with passenger capacity of up to 13. While the facility does not fall under the direct management of Kenya Airports Authority, the authority has conducted an assessment of its current condition with key findings outlined. Perimeter security. The airstrip perimeter fence has been vandalized, Speaker, honorable members, leading to unrestricted access by both people and animals, thereby compromising operational safety. With respect to the runway, the pavement has experienced significant erosion, and the presence of overgrown vegetation poses a hazard to aircraft operations. Additionally, honorable members, gullies and shrubs have encroached the runway strip, further affecting its usability. On the airspace obstruction, there are overhead power lines by KPLC transmission lines across the main approach path of runway 18, creating a potential safety risk for aircraft on final approach. The airstrip, Speaker, honorable members, has been repurposed as a dumping site by the surrounding community, which further deteriorates the integrity of the aerodrome infrastructure. And there is also encroachment Honorable Speaker, members, by human settlement in close proximity to the airstrip. The perimeter fence is situated approximately 30 meters from the runway center line, and the primary access route to several homes passes through the airstrip land, further compromising safety and security. Given these challenges, honorable members, immediately corrective measures are required to restore the airstrip operational safety and integrity. With respect to Turbi airstrip, it's also a Code C aerodrome located in Turbi, Marsabit County. It has a gravel runway measuring 1.07 kilometers in length and 20 meters width, and can accommodate aircraft with passengers up to 13 persons. Although the airstrip is also not under the management of Kenya Airports Authority, the authority has conducted an assessment of its current condition, highlighting several critical concerns. And like Sololo, the runway, there's damage on the runway with deep gullies from erosions and service runoffs, making the runway partially unusable. There's encroachment, settlement, livestock, motorbikes, and pedestrians freely access the airstrip due to lack of fencing. A 6-meter building, a threshold 11, and a 12-meter power line, and a power line, yes, and a raised road of 50 meters from the threshold obstruct safe aircraft operation. Overgrown shrubs, boulders, and unmaintained vegetation poses safety hazard, honorable members. And with respect to infrastructure, there's been vandalized perimeter fence and overhead KPLC power lines across the main approach, increases risk. The current condition of Sololo and Turbi airstrips have made them unsafe for use due to safety concern, inadequate infrastructure, and non-compliance with Kenya Civil Aviation Authority regulation as outlined, as I've outlined, honorable members. In response, the ministry, through its implementing agency, KAA, has initiated a technical assessment to determine the necessary scope of rehabilitation. Based on the findings, a phased rehabilitation plan will be developed through targeted budgetary allocation. Mr. Speaker, sir, upgrade of this airstrip is not contained in the current financial year budget, since the rehabilitation remains dependent, honorable members, of availability of funding. But let me say, given the vastness of Marsabit County as it is, and the mode of access to this county, I'll personally pay attention to ensure we do make these two facilities usable by ensuring that we work on budgetary allocation, Speaker and honorable members. As regarding whether there are plans to relocate the airstrips, and if so, we provided timelines for the same. Mr. Speaker, sir, currently there are no approved plans for the relocation of Sololo and Turbi airstrips. However, if assessments indicate that the current locations present long-term safety, operational, or land use challenges, relocation may be considered as an alternative. Any such decision will be based also on provision of alternative land by the county government of Marsabit, site reconnaissance, including aeronautical studies of the alternative proposed land, geotechnical and environmental impact studies, consultation with stakeholders, including the Kenya Airports Authority, the Kenya Civil Aviation, Kenya Met, county government, NGOs and security agencies, and of course budgetary provision within the mid-term expenditure framework. Timelines, therefore, for any relocation, if deemed necessary, can and will be provided once the feasibility studies are completed. On the third question, Speaker, honorable members, let me just respond to the question without recitation that a comprehensive surveillance and safety assessment of airstrip in Marsabit was conducted by the Kenya Civil Aviation from 28th October to 2nd November 2024. The assessment aimed to evaluate the safety status of aerodromes to ensure compliance with civil aviation regulations and the authority manual of aerodrome standards. And the key finding, Speaker, honorable members, is that the Marsabit airstrip runway measures 1.1 kilometers in length, 16 meters wide, with a bitumen surface which is significantly worn out due to erosion and inadequate drainage. The runway surface is dilapidated with loose bubbles indicating a lack of proper maintenance program. The runway width of 16 meters falls short of the required 23 meters for a Code 2 runway. The airstrip is frequently used as children's playground by the local community and Kiwanja Ndege Primary School. There is land encroachment with Kiwanja Ndege School, the chief office and a dispensary built on the airstrip land. The windstock is completely damaged, leaving just the pole mast standing alone there. The Dakabaricha location chief office has been constructed within the runway strip. There are no runway age markers, end markers, or taxiway markers, and due to the runway deterioration or deteriorated condition, threshold 31 should be displaced by 350, that last section is displaced by 350, and therefore reducing the usable runway to a length of 730 meters. The recommendation, honorable members, Speaker Sir, are to enhance safety and operational standard. What we must do are to resurface and widen the runway to meet regulatory standards, implementing routine maintenance program to address service wear and drainage issues, restricting unauthorized access to prevent non-aeronautical activities by, of course, fencing, addressing land encroachment through proper demarcation and encroachment, and replacing the windstock and installing proper runway markers and taxiway signage. These interventions are critical to ensuring safe aircraft operation and protecting the traveling public. And with respect to the, I think the final question as to whether there are plans to upgrade or expand Marsabit Town airstrip. And Mr. Speaker, the upgrade of Marsabit Town airstrip is to accommodate commercial flights, has been planned in 3 phases as outlined. While this facility is not under the management of KA equally, the authority has already completed phase 1, which included the construction of new perimeter chain link fence with razor wire, installation of gatehouse, gate, septic tank, and sock pit, construction of public washrooms, relocation of overhead KPLC lines. Project cost for this phase expended 61.2 million. Implementation period, Chair, Speaker, honorable members, started in July 26, 2022, and was completed 1 year later on 26 July 2023, and the project is completed and handed over to the client. The phase 2 will involve reconstruction of the runway, taxiway, and apron pavements, overlaying the runway with a 50mm asphalt, that's about a 2-inch asphalt, installation of runway markings, drainage improvement, including line drainage with side slabs or stone pitching, and installation of airfield lighting and communication equipment. And the phase 3 will involve acquisition of additional land to extend the runway from 1.1 kilometer to 1.5 kilometers, expansion of runway, construction of passenger terminal building, offices, car park, and wastewater reticulation system. Additionally, Speaker, honorable members, feasibility studies are underway to assess the potential expansion of other strategic airstrips in Marsabit County, subject to budgetary allocation. And like I said, Speaker, this is one of our vast, or one of the biggest counties in Kenya, and the mode of transport can only be achieved through facilitation of this kind of transport service. So we'll pay attention and ensure Honorable Chute, we do address the needs for the people of this county to be able to travel. Speaker, in conclusion, I wish to inform the Honorable House that the Ministry is committed to enhancing aviation infrastructure in Marsabit to improve connectivity, security, and economic growth. Detailed timelines, like I said, of implementation we can provide as soon as we finish the feasibility studies and budgetary approval. And let me confirm, Speaker, honorable members, that we'll, like I've said, pay attention to that. Thank you.
Senator Mohamed Chute, do you have any supplementary question? You can have your seat, Waziri.
Yeah, I do, Honorable Speaker. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I was just wondering, I want the Cabinet Secretary to tell this Honorable House, when he talks about the airstrips are not under the management of KAA, and then at the same time he's contradicting himself by saying the last page, which is page 5, the CS is talking about investment of up to 61 million shillings, and then the last paragraph talks about completion of the same project and handed over to KAA. If these airstrips are not managed by KAA, who is managing these airstrips? And why should it be handed over to Kenya Airports Authority? Number 2, last general election, 2022, myself and the now President, His Excellency, President Ruto, wanted to go to Sololo. We had to go to Moyale and drive all the way from Moyale to Sololo. Now, almost 3 years. The Cabinet Secretary should tell this House that, yes, we don't have funds now, but the programs are this year or next financial year, we are going to start and complete this project. Please, can the Cabinet Secretary tell the people of Marsabit and the people of this country, besides not having money, when are you going to start the project and completion period? Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable CS.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for that supplementary question from Honorable Chute. Let me just clarify, Honorable Speaker, Honorable members, that the airstrips in Kenya, today we have a total of about 440 airstrips falling under the Ministry of Interior, Ministry of Forestry under KWS, and KAA. Those under our direct jurisdiction and management are 18. And what happens, honorable members, I guess because of the facility of KAA, we do go into arrangements to support and maintain some of the airstrips like Sololo and Turbi. And so when we have an arrangement to run a maintenance and we do a tender as KAA, we supervise the construction and the contractor will then hand over a certificate of completion. And that is basically why I said it was handed over to the client. We are the client when we are in charge of the construction, but those two airstrips belong to the Ministry of Interior, Honorable Chair, Honorable Chairman, Speaker rather, honorable members. So we'll continue to cooperate with Interior, KWS, to deliver the various airstrips, continue to support and work together in terms of providing budgetary support, and that suffices to basically clarify why I did indicate that handed over back to the client being the contracting authority, KAA. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable Senators, before I give you an opportunity to ask more supplementary questions, question number 046, Senator Fatuma Nduro, is as the related subject matter on the airport in Isiolo. So I will request you also ask that question so that the CS can handle all the interventions together. Then we'll go back now to the other areas on loans. Yes, Senator Chute.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I asked two questions. Question number one was the airstrips belongs to who? Then number two, the CS should give us the deadline on when to start the project and when to finish. That question he didn't answer.
Yes, if you have that capacity to determine now, then proceed and give the timelines.
Honorable Chair, thank you again. Sorry about that. And I just thought I was repeating myself, Chair, because I had indicated that this is the vastest county in Kenya, and therefore we'll pay attention to make sure that budgetary provisions are provided, and I'll pay personal attention because the mode of transport in a county as vast as Marsabit, if we don't provide these airstrips in a usable, maintainable mode, it becomes a challenge, and therefore we'll pay attention and push for budgetary support to ensure that whereas the Ministry of Interior did provide that budget and we've been maintaining, we'll work with the Ministry of Interior to ensure that we do provide a budget and maintain those airports. Thank you, Speaker.
Senator Nduro, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my question number 046 reads, how much money has the government allocated and utilized so far in the project for the modernization and rehabilitation of the Isiolo International Airport? B, could the Cabinet Secretary provide a status update on the payment of compensation to owners of the parcel of land acquired for the project and indicate when outstanding balances will be paid? C, are there plans to extend the runway at the airport? And if so, could the Cabinet Secretary provide timelines for the same? D, could the Cabinet Secretary also explain why the airport is not operational and outline steps being taken by the government to address the situation? I thank you.
Cabinet Secretary.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The question for the member of Isiolo with respect to Isiolo Airport. Honorable members, with respect to question A, which is seeking the total amount of money that the government has so far allocated and utilized in the project for the modernization and rehabilitation of Isiolo Airport. Isiolo Airport, honorable members, is an international airport, given its locationing on the Lapset corridor, and what we need to do to open up that corridor and that development corridor to basically improve the economic activities of this country, because the current northern corridor is very congested. So, members, and I say that deliberately because Isiolo being an international airport, and I could see aerodrome featuring a single asphalt runway that measures 1.4 kilometers in length and 30 meters width, 3 number taxiways and an apron. The airport is approximately on 800 acres, honorable members. That is 330 acres of land, of course, in both Isiolo and Meru counties. Major construction work started, honorable members, in 2011 and were completed in 2017. The airport modernization is part of the Lamu Port South Sudan Ethiopia Transport Corridor Lapset development project, as well as Kenya's Vision 2030 program. Isiolo International Airport was strategically planned to enhance access to northern Kenya and connect the region with major cities and international destinations, thereby promoting tourism and business travel. The airport aims to stimulate economic growth and attract investment. Future plans include expansion to further enhance its services and operational efficiency. The construction of the airport was executed in 3 phases, with phase 1 being the development of the runway and taxiway in 2011-2013. The phase 2 was the construction of the passenger terminal building, office block and car park completed in 2016, and development of the access road, apron, expansion and drainage works as a phase 3 and completed in 2017. Honorable members, the cost of phase 1, 844 million, phase 2, 963 million, that phase 3, 849 million, and the runway pavement, 47.95 million. On item 5 on that table, there is a runway pavement rehabilitation works that started in 2021-2022 at a cost of 55 million. There's a proposed construction cargo processing facility at a cost of 24.3 million, which started in 2021 and was completed. Erection of floodlights, street lights, installation works, which started in 2017 and was finished in 2018 at a cost of 27.78 million. There's extra mechanical service construction of a pump house, an elevated water tank, and a borehole, which also has been completed at a cost of 55 million Kenya shillings. There is relocation of a school, KK Ngechia School Phase 1, and there is also a Phase 2 with both costing 97 million, the 76.8 and the 20.4. With the project total, and both have been completed, honorable members, with the project cost at 2.974 billion, approximately 3 billion, honorable members. You can see the significance, big investment, and we need to really get down to answer the next question: why is the airport not operational after that level of expenditure? And on the question of the compensation to residents who were displaced as a result of the project, and how we are planning to finalize the compensation, Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable members, on November 2nd, 2004, the Isiolo County government agreed to set aside a portion of trust land for the expansion and promise alternative land for those affected in nearby areas. Similar discussion took place in the defunct County Council of Meru North. The authority held consultation with stakeholders, including district commissioners at that time, and council, culminating in a supportive workshop that took place on January 14, 2005. Benefits of the airport project were highlighted, leading to further collaborative planning between the councils. And after completing a joint fiscal planning exercise, the path development plans were submitted and approved by the Ministry of Lands and Housing in April 2006. The authority received a letter of allotment for approximately 253 hectares on May 23, 2006. Honorable Speaker, members, meanwhile, in or around November 2004, the then Isiolo County Council conducted an identification exercise of persons affected by the expansion of the airstrip, and a full council adoption of the same was obtained. The affected persons were to be relocated by the County Council of Isiolo. As of to date, honorable members, Speaker, due to multiple conflicts, claims, the authority has not been able to compensate the project affected persons due to the fact that the genuine affected persons by the airport expansion have not been identified, as the process of vetting genuine persons and determining just compensation for the land used for expansion of the airport solely lies with the National Land Commission. In addition, there are multiple court land matters pertaining to Isiolo International Airport, which we have annexed. With respect to, and certainly we need to, given the time frame and the historical time frame, We just need to complete that, and therefore we need to really get the National Land Commission together with the county government and of course ourselves to close that issue as the concern has been brought out by Senator Dulo. As regarding plans to extend the runway at the airport, and if so, whether we can provide a timeline, Speaker, we have listed projects that have been planned to make Isiolo International Airport fully functional to support both passenger and cargo traffic, and then really support that investment that has been laid, that has been put on the ground. These projects are all dependent with the allocation of funding, and being Isiolo being where it sits in the Lapsset corridor, the National Treasury will work very closely with the National Treasury with, to ensure that with the projected budget estimate that I have enumerated of 4.8 billion, that covers what we need to do, which include rehabilitation of the existing runway through the midterm program. An evaluation of the existing runway was done, and a recommendation of the fully reconstructing the runway made due to the failures that have been observed since inception. I think there's a bit of clay cotton there, and we need to redo that. It will cost us 1.5 billion. Runway extension of 3.5 kilometers to really land the bigger flights. Extending the runway will cost us 1.5 billion. We need to put in a fire station at an additional 300 million. We need to complete the airport perimeter fence. We need airfield ground field lighting, which will cost us 250 million. We need aircraft traffic control tower. With the expansion noted above, we may require that, and it will cost us an additional 300 million. Improvement of drainage around the airport to basically address that water logging due to the type of soils there will cost us 300 million. And land acquisition for VIP car parks, hangars, and road expansion. A total budget, like I said, of 4.8 billion. And like again, to reiterate that Isiolo being where it sits in the Lapsset corridor, and for the strategic definition, we will work very closely to secure the investment already on the ground by facilitating completion of this airport. On the question of why the airport is not operational and the steps we are taking to address the situation, Mr. Speaker, sir, the facility currently accommodates non-scheduled flights primarily involving caravans and helicopters, but is experiencing significant runway defects due to flooding caused by terrain challenges and expansive black cotton soil. These issues have led to low pavement classification values, limiting the type of aircraft that can operate safely. Honorable Speaker, in November 2020, the authority engaged the Material Testing and Research Division under the Ministry of Transport to assess the runway pavement and recommend corrective action. The Kenya Airports Authority is awaiting additional funding from the National Treasury to address these issues with proposals that include reconstructing the runway, like I've said. And the project, the runway, being the international status, positioning of Isiolo, I did say these defects, as they present a serious risk, including safety hazards, operational limitation, increased maintenance cost, will be something of priority for us. And therefore, timely repairs are crucial to enhance safety, expand operational capacity, reduce long-term costs, and attract more users, ensuring our facility long-term viability. And again, members will pay attention. Isiolo is a critical geopositioning in the Lapsset corridor. And so it is of national interest as much as it's of interest to the senator from Isiolo. Thank you.
Senator Dulo, you can ask your supplementary question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and CS Chirchir for the response. Unfortunately, I've gotten the response just half an hour before you came in. I might not be able to interrogate. But since I know what is happening on the ground, I can be able to ask a further question on the same. Now, on the part of the airport, having started in 2011, and I know you have reiterated that this airport is really important for the government and also for the people living in those areas. And looking again at the policy of Kenya Kwanza bottom-up approach, this is an airport that should have helped the people from that area. And secondly, it will ease a lot of congestion at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, more specifically for those people who are transporting miraa and also doing business to more specifically northern part of the country. Waziri, you have said you have used 2.9 billion, which is a huge chunk of money. And the balance required is about 4.8. This is a project that started in 2011. As we look at that airport, it's just a white elephant project. And I know the government cannot miss 4.8 million to uplift and upgrade and develop that part of the country. CS, I know supplementary budget is going on. And I know, as you have said, this airport is really important to you. Can you give us a timeline within which you are going to commit to finalize this project? Because it's really important for us. Employment, economic empowerment, and all that. The second question, Mr. Speaker, is on compensation. As you have said, NLC is taking us round in circles. I have asked this question on this floor of the House. Even in the last Senate, same stories are repeated. I have personally gone to KAA to follow up. They have all the names of the people who need to be compensated. NLC has the list. But the communities are being frustrated after their land being taken in 2011. And I hope Waziri is listening to me, Mr. Speaker, is as a result of frustration by NLC that people went to court. Can the minister give us a commitment when this matter is going to be resolved? Because NLC has everything. I even have the list of the beneficiaries. They cannot say they don't have the list. In fact, there was no land even set aside by the county council. I have followed all that. In the absence of the list, the land set aside for by the county council, actually in the last parliament, county government of Isiolo even brought more lists of beneficiaries to NLC, bringing more confusion. So this matter is really very sensitive. Can the minister tell us when they are going to conclude on this matter and settle the outstanding compensation? I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Senators, we are going to take two more supplementary questions so that the CS can answer 3 questions at a time. Senator Kathuri Murungi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I also want to weigh in from where my sister, Isiolo Senator, has left. Honorable CS, this airport, the initial idea was very good to do the airport in Isiolo. as you have really stressed. But if you go to that airport, Honorable CS, maybe you have been there or not, the CEO, Kenya Ports Authority, has been there severally, and your team, including the CS, the PS. But if you go to that project, you realize that Kenya, we are really wasting resources because the airport is huge. Actually, it is at the level of Eldoret Airport. Actually, better than Eldoret Airport, if I may say. But if now...
Senator Mandago, what is your point of order?
You know, Eldoret is not your airport.
Senator for Meru.
What is it?
Isiolo is not yet even classified an airport. Eldoret is an international airport receiving not less than 5 cargo planes. I expect you to be asking the CS when is he expanding the runway so that we can export horticultural produce from
Yes,
that place.
Deputy Speaker.
Don't compare my airport with an airstrip meant for livestock.
Order, senators. Order, senators. Order, senators. Order. I was going to address that. Order, senators. Senator, Deputy Speaker, Senator Mandago was on a point of order. You should have taken your seat while he was talking, but that's been overtaken by events. Senator Mandago, I didn't quite hear your point of order. What was your point of order?
You know, Honorable Speaker, under 105...
Order, Cherargei. Can we hear the senator in silence?
Yes. Understanding 105, standing order 105, Honorable Speaker, and a statement of facts. The Senator of Meru should provide evidence that the Isiolo Airport that is not operational is better than Eldoret International Airport. He is on record. He said it. Yes. This business of people demeaning projects in other counties, Honorable Speaker, is not correct. And I was just passing information to the Honorable Deputy Speaker that he should actually be asking the CS when is Eldoret International Airport going to be extended because it's more visible and achievable and economically viable.
Senator, Deputy Speaker.
For sure, I don't know why my friend here is offended by my statement. You know, Speaker, I was building my case to showcase that Isiolo International Airport, actually it is international level, is as huge, even better facilities than what is in Eldoret. I've been to Eldoret Airport. I've been to Isiolo. Actually, I want to be informed by my colleague here, Senator Cherargei. He requested for some information to me,
Senator,
which I accept. Then
Senator
I'll be able
Cherargei.
to execute my issue.
Senator Cherargei.
Mr. Speaker, you know, for me who has been to Isiolo International Airport, it has more better facilities than Eldoret. Eldoret, the reception area of Eldoret looks like a toilet or ramshackle, Mr. Speaker, and they don't have a direct flight. So in fact, they are better and there are no direct flights to Eldoret International Airport, Mr. Speaker. The area senator should be pushing for a better upgrade of Eldoret International Airport instead of undermining Isiolo International Airport, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mandago, what's your point of order?
My point of order, Honorable Speaker, is on 105. Can Cherargei really say that Eldoret Reception Airport is equivalent to a toilet? When Nandi County itself is suffering from serious problems, they are not yet even at the level of getting an airport. They are still struggling with all-weather roads, Honorable Speaker. The other day, we were being treated to demolitions in Nandi. It's a very disorderly county that they have no capacity to commence.
Senator Mohamed Faki, what is your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, I think it is a misnomer. It's a misnomer for some of these so-called international airports to be called international airports. If an international airport doesn't allow flights to land at night, how can that be an international airport? Airports that close at 5 p.m. That cannot be an international airport.
Which airport are you referring to?
Eldoret. And you know, recently, Mr. Speaker, sir, we voted for Eldoret County, Uasin Gishu County, to be called a city, Eldoret to be a city. And how can a city not have an airport that works 24 hours?
Senator, this is the last point of order. Senator Veronica, what is your point of order?
Honorable Speaker, I am getting lost with the proceedings in the House right now. The Cabinet Secretary is in the House today. He's answering questions regarding the question that was raised by the Honorable Senator for Isiolo. And he has the standardization of international airports. Now, senators are arguing whether these are international airports or not international airports. The marking scheme on the standards of those airports is in the House. Why don't you ask him to define for us what an international airport should contain and whether Isiolo and Eldoret have international airports?
Senator Paul Thangwa, what is your point of order?
Honorable Speaker, I have not finished.
No,
I'm not done. You cannot define when I'm done. It is only the Speaker who can define when I'm done. Honorable Speaker, I'm trying to help the House. Let the CS for transport define for the House what an international airport should contain, and whether Uasin-Gishu Eldoret has an international airport and Isiolo has an international airport.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Paul Thangwa, what's your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, I don't understand the fuss, Mr. Speaker, but we are all in agreement. Isiolo Airport is not working. Eldoret Airport is not working. That means nothing is working. That means the government is not working, Mr. Speaker. We all agree the government is not working, and we should not continue with this debate, Mr. Speaker. Nothing is working. This is an indication of what we have been saying, Mr. Speaker. They should agree that the government is not working, then together we come up with the plans of how we are going to take care of Isiolo and Uasin-Gishu Eldoret Airport. Nothing is working. Nothing.
Thank you. Order, senators. Order, senators. Order, senators. Order, senators. Order, senators, order. Order. We need to progress. We need to progress. Can we allow Senator Kathuri Murungi to complete his submissions?
Honorable Speaker, can you protect me from
Senators, order. Let us hear the senator in silence.
Actually, we are discussing an issue touching on livelihood of the whole region called Upper Eastern and actually Central Kenya. So, Mr. Speaker, you know, when we are discussing serious issues of national importance, the senator for Endole, Uasin-Gishu, can also do business in Isiolo. So when we are addressing matters of national importance, we should not just take these issues as regional matters or county matters. So what I was saying is that, the Honorable Mr. CS, the investment that is in Isiolo and the Isiolo airport is non-functional. It is really shameful to this republic. More than 5 years ago, I visited the CEO of Kenya Airports Authority, and he gave me the same report that we need 4.8 from the exchequer. Mr. CS, this money can even go through the PPP way. So that also, yes, just a minute, Mr. Speaker. So that also that airport can be actualized. So Mr. CS, this 4.8 billion is very little money if you want to rescue Isiolo Airport. And you don't need to do everything the same day, because if it is expansion of the runway, it is 1.5 billion. Why don't you even start with that as you assemble more funds to do the air traffic control, to do the fire station? Why don't we start even with the 1.5 billion for the runway extension, so that at least we can be able to get that airport functional, Mr. CS. Mr. CS, we have a similar question next year about the Mira accidents along Meru-Nairobi Highway. Those accidents as a result of the non-functional airport in Isiolo, because these Mira guys bring Mira to Nairobi so that they can ferry them to Somalia and other countries. But because there is no airport, that is why you see them landing very fast. Mira is very perishable, very perishable. If the airport is functional in Isiolo, there will be no accidents along the highway, Mr. Wana CS. So if we can be able to collect one issue, including the vegetables that we produce. Fatumanduro, you very well know that they are from Nanyuki to the junction, Isiolo Airport, Isiolo Junction. There is a lot of flowers and vegetables that needs to be ferried through Isiolo Airport. So the abattoir now in Isiolo, you need to transport that meat to Saudi Arabia through Isiolo Airport. So this is a very important facility
Senator,
that should be completed. And this is what we require from the Kenya Kwanza government. If they give us this one, we can talk other business. But this is like a mandatory project that we need from Kenya Kwanza.
Thank you, Senator. No, I'm not taking any more point of order. Senator Enoch Wambua, ask your supplementary question.
Mr. Speaker, I thank you. Clearly, I don't belong to that region or that league where we are discussing international airports. My supplementary will stem from Marsabit, where we are discussing airstrips. Mr. Speaker, my question is to the CS on 3 airstrips in Kitui. Mr. CS, we once used to have Kitui airstrip. We once used to have Mutomo airstrip. And there has been a proposal for a Sikuru airstrip. Mr. Speaker, none of this is functional. None of this is operating. In fact, I will respond to Cherry, or Senator, because he's asking me whether Kalonzo did not build the airstrip. And I want to tell him that he did not. He did not, but he helped to build airstrips in other regions in this country. I hope that the people in office today then will help to build airstrips where...
Order, senators, order, senators. Senators, if I may remind you, we only have 1 hour left. We have several questions to go through. These kinds of interruption will only lead us to drop some of the questions or even drop the supplementaries that you want to ask the CS. So let us please maintain decorum.
Thank you, Chair, for protecting me.
Senator Wambua, please, no long stories. Just ask your question.
Mr. Speaker, I will take exception to that, but I will comply because I've listened to other senators giving a lot of stories. I have no stories, Mr. Speaker, to give. I have no stories to give.
Thank you, Senator.
Only to say that, Mr. Speaker, I would want to know the fate of those airstrips because, in fact, the Kitui airstrip has now been degenerated to a level of being a grazing field for neighbors. Nothing is working there. And you know, Mr. Speaker, I thank God that at least as we speak today, the PS in charge of airports and all aeroplanes in this country is one Terry Mbaika, who is seated here, and he comes from that region, so that Cherio does not say that the people of Ukambani don't belong to government. I wonder what he means when he says he don't belong to government. This is a very senior officer in government, in charge of aeroplanes and airports. I mean, this is a serious person from the region. Well, we are seriously in government, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to know whether then the presence of that PS would make it even better for the people of that region. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Cabinet Secretary, you may take those 3 questions before we take the next 3 questions.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, honorable members, for those supplementary questions. Let me start with Mheshimiwa Dulo's concern that we certainly will need to sit down together offline with the National Land Commission to address some of those pertinent issues of land compensation and the funding thereof to be able to resolve it once for all. You remember I said they are really historical issues, and sometimes it doesn't look like anybody's paying attention. So out of these chambers, Speaker, we will pay attention, I would like to invite Mheshimiwa Dulo, maybe Chairman Otachi, so that we can resolve those outstanding issues and address the financial requirements and compensation for the project-affected persons and compensate them accordingly. As regarding members, the concern of this airport or that airport, I did indicate in my substantive answer that the Isiolo airport sits on a development corridor, LAPSET, which is the second development corridor for this country to move out of the congested northern corridor, which anchors Kenya or puts Kenya in an anchor state through the port of Mombasa, service in Uganda, servicing DRC, Congo, and the countries in the northern corridor. And to the extent we all understand the context on why we are developing the northern corridor, not to be a regional corridor or a regional airport for that matter, but to open up a new development corridor and decongest the current corridor, but more importantly, leverage on Kenya's geoposition to service Ethiopia, South Sudan, and you do know what is currently happening between Djibouti, South Sudan, and Ethiopia. And therefore, this is not a regional airport per se. It is an international airport that sits on the LAPSET corridor, and that seeks to support Lamu, that we have already developed 3 parts on a deep water port. That seeks to really open up a whole corridor to service South Sudan, Ethiopia, and part of northern Uganda. So it's important, members, to distinguish the context of Kenya as an anchor state and primarily or secondarily benefiting the people of eastern and central Kenya because of the location of this airport. So I want to confirm that because this was a regional project, not just a national project, Isiolo will be built because we need to leverage on our geopositioning. When I say regional, you understand, like this month we've just postponed a summit meeting by the 3 heads of states. This draws significant advantage to Kenya because when I said Kenya is an anchor state, it's basically leveraging and taking a competitive advantage of our geopositioning. And therefore, it's not about just Isiolo, it's about Kenya. And so when I say Isiolo will be built, it is not just about Isiolo, it's about Kenya leveraging on that corridor and ensuring that we do take that advantage, because if we don't, there is currently the talk between the other 3 countries on forming another regional bloc. And therefore, Kenya has to seize its position and be able to take advantage of that corridor. And Isiolo, Lamu, and the components on the LAPSET corridor will be developed. So I want to confirm that, and we should work together as leadership to ensure that we seize this opportunity and develop LAPSET as a second development corridor for this country and take that anchor position to basically open a corridor to service South Sudan, Ethiopia, and a bit of northern Uganda. So, this is a national project, not just a regional project, and therefore, like I said, members, we will work together and pay attention to ensuring that the whole of the LAPSET corridor and the components, including Isiolo International Airport, is fully developed. And so I think I want to leave at that, but not to fail to basically just confirm that in the context of what I've said, we will pay attention together and ensure that we provide resources to develop Isiolo as a key spoke or a key component in the LAPSET corridor that we all desire to fully develop. And of course, the secondary benefits, which could be primary in terms of perishable goods like Mira, not having to come to Nairobi, but flown out of the international airport of Isiolo. I think that basically covers what what Senator Kaduri did raise as concern really Isiolo being an asset that has not been fully developed. And it is true, it has not been fully developed, just like Lamu Port and the whole corridor, because it's a big, huge regional project. If it was just for the purpose of building an airport in Isiolo, I don't think we'll be putting in a disposition of about 10 billion to fully develop Isiolo. But to the context that we're really opening a new corridor, and when I really, as minister, say we'll develop Isiolo, I think every senator should be saying we'll develop Isiolo, because it is a key component in opening that corridor, that second corridor that will decongest and take advantage of the other three countries who are landlocked. With respect to Senator Enoch Wambua's question, I think we will really work very closely with all members to ensure that all our airstrips are functioning. We are working with the county governments to ensure that, if I may say, none of the airstrips break even. They are not profit-making, but they facilitate trade, movement of people, and so on and so forth. And it is in the process of opening up the country. And therefore, even as we work with the county governments, who we have a framework that we do the runway, we do the aprons, they do the terminal building, we will need to see really bankability or sustainability of this airport, so that when budget is not provided, it doesn't become a grazing field or something like that. And therefore, we'll work very closely to ensure that all our airstrips are functional for ease of movement of people and goods, in spite of the challenge of most of them or all of them not really having a bottom line in terms of revenues to sustain the expenditure or the cost that are incurred year in, month out, and annually. So let me then basically say we will work very closely to ensure sustainability of our airstrips so that they are all functional, and will endeavor to provide budget. The situation obtaining in Marsabit is about the same situation obtaining in Kitui, and it's about the same situation obtaining in my home county of Bomet and all the other counties. But we will work to ensure that we do make them functional to support ease of movement of goods and people. Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, honorable members.
Senator Miraj.
Asante Bwana Spika, uniruhusu kabla ya kuuliza swali langu nitoe pongezi kwa serikali, hususan Wizara ya Uchukuzi na Barabara, kwa kuweza kuruhusu ndege za kimataifa za Uturuki na Qatar kuweza kutua moja kwa moja katika kiwanja cha kimataifa cha Moi. Tarehe 26 mwezi wa 4 mwaka wa 2023 niliweza kusimama na kupeana ombi ya kuruhusiwa kwa ndege hizo za kimataifa kuweza kutua katika kiwanja kile, na ni pongezi. Swali langu kwa waziri ni kwamba kuna mikakati gani ya kuboresha viwango vya kiwanja kile ili kiweze kuwa na muonekano kimiundo msingi, kwa sababu wale wageni tunaowatarajia katika kiwanja kile sasa watakuwa ni wageni wa kitalii na wamezunguka katika mataifa mengine ya nje na wameona mionekano mizuri. Je, kuna mikakati gani ya kuweza kuona kwamba uwanja wa ndege wa Moi umeweza kuboreshwa na kupata muonekano mpya ambao unaendana sambamba na viwanja vingine vya kimataifa? Wenyewe Waswahili husema, waziri, kicheko cha takameno. Je, tumejipanga sawia kuona kwamba wageni tutakapokuwa tunawapokea wanaona hali tofauti na ile walioiacha hapo awali? Asante sana.
Senator Mazayo.
Asante Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, swali langu kwa waziri ni kwamba hichi kiwanja cha ndege cha Isiolo kina wale engineers na maafisa husika ambao waliweza kutengeneza hii airport. Bwana Spika, tukiangalia cha kwanza ni kwamba hawa professionals waliweza kutengeza ripoti yao na wakasema ya kwamba kiwanja hichi kitakuwa tayari ikiwa kitatumia pesa bilioni 1.5. Bwana Spika, nataka kujua majina ya hawa engineers ambao waliweza kutengeneza hii airport na wakasema watatumia ile katika ile kuangalia watatumia pesa ngapi za serikali, watatumia bilioni 1.5, waweze kuwekwa wazi hapa wale maengineer waliofanya kazi hiyo ama wahusika wote waliokuwa na uwezo wa kutengeza hiyo kiwanja cha ndege. Bwana Spika, swala langu la pili, ikiwa hivi sasa imeonekana ya kwamba hii ardhi chini yake ilikuwa haiwezi kuchukua mzigo kama ule wa ndege ama ilikuwa haiwezi kuchukua mzigo ya vitu vizito, imepatikana imelegea ile ardhi kichini, kisayansi ama kiinjinia, ni kwamba iko very weak on the top na huko chini ndio kumeharibika kabisa. Na hawa walikuwa ni hao engineers ambao walifanya hiyo contract na wakafanya recommendations zao. Swala langu ni kwamba ni hatua gani serikali imechukua kuona ya kwamba hawa ma-engineers wameadhibiwa? Na pia swala la pili ni kwamba waziri aweze kutueleza hawa ma-engineers walisomea wapi hiyo engineer wao. Na mwisho Bwana Spika.
Senator Mazayo.
Bwana Spika.
Ushauliza swali yako. Ushauliza swali yako.
Swali langu la mwisho ni kwamba nataka kumuuliza waziri.
Swali ni moja, Senator Mazayo.
Ndio, swala ni moja, nataka kuongezea. Pole, nataka kuongezea. Ni kwamba ni hatua gani ambayo inaweza kuchukuliwa kuona ya kwamba athari kama hii haitatokea, na hawa maengineer wanatakana kumsaidia rais ili rais aonekane akisema kitu chake kitafanyikana kifanyike. Hawa ndio wafisadi kwa sababu wanataka kurudi tena watengeze pesa. Airport ni hiyo pesa ambayo imekuwa allocated ni ile ilikuwa ambao wameitumia, sasa wamekuja wameweka double, kutokea wameweka mara 2, kutokea bilioni 1.5, sasa wanasema ya kwamba wanaweza kumaliza kwa bilioni bilioni 4. Kwa hiyo Bwana Spika, tunasema ufisadi kama ni hatua gani ambao waziri anaweza kuchukua ama amechukua kuona kwamba hawa wahandisi waliofanya hii kazi wamechukuliwa hatua gani?
Asante Senator, tushafahamu swali yako. Senator Mandago, sijui kama utafata mtindo na wewe ulize swali kwa Kiswahili.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Swali langu kwa waziri ni serikali ina mipango gani ili kuongeza runway ya Eldoret International Airport na pia kukarabati airstrip ya Baringo County ambayo inatumika sana kwa mambo ya masuala ya usalama kule Kerio Valley. Mheshimiwa Spika, ningependa kujua kwa sababu hii imekuwa kwa mpango wa serikali kwa muda mrefu kuwa uwanja wa ndege wa kimataifa wa Eldoret itapanuliwa ili uchukuzi ya mambo ya bidhaa za kilimo siweze kuboresha. Mheshimiwa Spika, Mheshimiwa Spika, unavyoelewa kaunti ambazo zinazunguka mji wa Eldoret ni kaunti ambazo zina sana uchumi wao unategemea mambo ya kilimo, na kwa hivyo tungependa kama serikali waziri atueleze kama iko kwa mipango ya serikali kwa mwaka ya matumizi ya fedha ya 25-26 kupanua uwanja wa Eldoret Airport ili sisi kama wakulima tuweze kuitumia. Mheshimiwa Spika, na hiyo airstrip ya Baringo ambaye sana inahusika na mambo ya usalama na inasaidia sana wakati tunakuwa na majeruhi kule Kerio Valley kwa sababu ya mambo ya usalama. Maafisa wetu ya usalama na pia raia wanasaidika kwa kupewa huduma ya kwanza na ya haraka kwa mambo ya matibabu. Mheshimiwa Spika.
Honorable Senators, because of time, I'm going to take only 2 more supplementary questions from the dashboard so that we can move on to the other questions which are on the order paper. Senator Manzo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the CS has said that the airstrips belong to the Ministry of Interior and not Kenya Airports Authority. And I want to ask him, what is he going to do so that they can have full control over the airstrips, bearing in mind that airstrips are for evacuation purposes and also for emergency landings. And could he, in that particular state, what's the status of Makindu airstrip, which is also on the flight line to Mombasa, from Mombasa to Nairobi?
Thank you, Senator. And those are 2 questions. You only allowed 1 supplementary question. Joe Newton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My supplementary question is related to the answer that the CS gave on Senator Chute's question, and that is relating to Sololo airstrip, Mr. Speaker. Because the CS says that there is airspace obstruction by Kenya Power transmission lines, and there is unauthorized use where the airstrip is being used as a dumping site, Mr. Speaker. And so my question to the CS would be, what is he doing? Because we should have a multi-agency approach so that, I mean, what is the ministry doing and what was the ministry doing when Kenya Power erected poles and power lines across the airstrip? And what is the county, how is the ministry working with the county government to see to it that the airport is not, the airstrip is not turned into a dumping ground, Mr. Speaker? So it's about the multi-agency approach. What is the ministry doing to work with other arms of government?
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
We've understood you. Cabinet Secretary.
Asanti sana Speaker. Siwezi kusema kwamba nitawezana na Kiswahili ya Senator Miraj, lakini hata hivyo nilielewa sabamba swali kwamba tuna mipango gani na mikakati gani kuinua hali ya airport ya Mombasa, Moi International Airport, ili kwamba the 2 airlines, Qatar Airlines and Turkey Airlines, who have allowed frequencies to land in Mombasa, do accommodate the kind of tourists and guests who will be landing in this airport. And certainly, Speaker, honorable members, we will have to operate Mombasa International Airport. We are working on the runway. I think there are some underground streams which have been causing problems. That's being worked on. We are doing some pavement works. We have got a private lounge which is privately run. We are operating the dignitaries lounge. And certainly, as the kind of guests come into Mombasa, we will have to pay attention to ensure that we do give the kind of customer service that is commensurate with the kind of clients. And therefore, I think it was more of a congratulatory message with respect to the new 2 airlines that will be landing henceforth in Mombasa, directly in Mombasa. But even as we do that, members, you know that we are very cautious in managing frequencies with our counterpart airlines so that we do get commensurate frequencies in those other cities for our KQ airline. So thank you, Senator Miraj, for your congratulations. We are going to operate Mombasa and ensure that it meets the standards for the kind of tourist destination and the number of passengers we'll be handling from those 2 destinations. With respect to Senator Madzayo's question as regarding, that's a substantive, that's not a supplementary question, Speaker, and I want to beg to, because we want the names, the engineers, which universities they went to, and suddenly I want to bring a substantive answer to that question. So if my former colleague and workmate in the historical life we have come from allows me, we can work on a substantive response to that question. As regarding the question from, I think, Baringo, this is Senator Mandago. What we really need to do, we're having plans to improve Eldoret Airport from a 3.5 kilometer runway to 4 kilometer to be able to uplift bigger flights for the kind of agricultural produce that we get out of Eldoret or that we bring into Eldoret, and the altitude. So the plans are there, and there's a small dispute to be resolved to allow us to extend the kilometers from 3.5 to 4 kilometer. And a lot of work has been done. If Senator Mandago, former governor, can work with us to resolve that small dispute in that formerly Aerotech or whatever land ahead there, that is having a small challenge, we'll be able to extend Eldoret very quickly from 3.5 to 4 kilometer runway. Baringo airstrip, like has been echoed by Manzo, my colleague and old-time friend, Senator Manzo, and it does come out that we really need to resolve the fact that most of the airstrips are under interior, and so is this particular one, Baringo airstrip, which is key for security and basically addressing the concerns of the region. So I'll work closely with my colleague from the Ministry of Interior to see, like we are working in other airstrips, to see how to improve Baringo airstrip to be in the state that can be used at any time, because when emergencies strike, you need a ready working airport. So Senator Mandago, I will work with my colleague from Interior and see how to operate and improve Baringo airstrip. I think I've answered Matsai with respect to, again, addressing working very closely with Interior to have a framework on how we can maintain some of the airstrips which do belong to Interior, and yet, like Sololo or the other airports in Marsabit, we are able to, like I mentioned earlier, work together and make sure that those airstrips are functioning. Senator Nyotu, we will really allow me to go back and do some homework on how a government agency can come in and probably lay lines within the airstrip and cause that security concern that I did report in line with Kenya civil aviation requirements, that it should be a safe landing place, and we should not have secondary installation of power lines or, for that matter, deploy it as a dumping site. But you know, it's really got, honorable members, to do with functionality and serviceability of the airport with respect to revenue. If our airports are not really revenue generating, they tend to degenerate if budget is not allocated and if we don't get frequent flights. So like I said, we will have a real good plan to ensure that our airstrips are in state of maintained, so that they do not become idle sites that look available for somebody to lay power lines, or that look available for anybody to do dumping of waste. And therefore, that's why you see us securing an airstrip as soon as we come in by fencing, even before we put in an infrastructure. So I'll pay attention, Chair, honorable members, to the concerns raised, more importantly to ensure that our airstrips across the country are functional and in state of use. Asante, thank you.
Thank you, CS. Honorable Senators, we're going to proceed with the questions of the day. Senator, okay. Cabinet Secretary, you've made a commitment to provide a substantive answer to Senator Mazayu's question. I hope you'll be able to do that in 2 weeks. Thank you, Cabinet Secretary. 2 weeks. Next question by Senator Sigei on behalf of Senator James Murango. And honorable senators, we are going to take all the 4 remaining questions, have the CS reply, and then take supplementary questions.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to ask the Honorable CS on behalf of Senator Murango, who has assigned me this mandate pursuant to a letter dated 9th of April 2025. And Honorable Speaker, before I ask the question, I want to welcome the Honorable CS to the Senate. And I'll straight go ask question number 17 on behalf of Senator Murango from Kirinyaga. Question 17A, how many road accidents reported between January and December 2024 involved vehicles transporting miraa along the Mwea-Embu Highway, and could the Cabinet Secretary state the number of lives lost as a result of those accidents? Question 17B, could the Cabinet Secretary explain the absence of speed limit signs along the said highway, which continues to impede the effective prosecution of speeding drivers? And question 17C, could the Cabinet Secretary explain what the government is doing to permanently address the speeding and reckless driving along the Mwea-Embu Highway, and state whether there are plans to supply speed guns to the Kirinyaga County Traffic Police Department, which currently has got none? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Next question by Senator Professor Senior Counsel Ojenda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask question number 23 on the order paper. And the question, Mr. Speaker, is in 3 parts. Part 1, could the Cabinet Secretary, and Mr. Speaker, I am alive to the fact that we have a competent Cabinet Secretary who will address all these questions. I've also seen the responses, some of which will need, I'm sure, very brief highlighting. Yes. Could the Cabinet Secretary, roads and transport, indicate the annual budget allocation for projects by the Kenya Urban Rural Roads Authority, KURA, and the Kenya Rural Roads Authority, KERA, for the construction and upgrade of roads in Kisumu County for the period 2020-2021 financial year to date? Part 2, could the Cabinet Secretary provide a list of all planned road projects by KURA and KERA in Kisumu County and indicate the budgetary estimates for each? And lastly, what measures are the ministry put in place to ensure the timely completion of all currently incomplete road projects by KURA and KERA in Kisumu County? And could the Cabinet Secretary provide respective timelines for the same? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The next question by Senator of Makueni, Senator Daniel Manzo.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Question number 40. A, could the Cabinet Secretary provide a progress report on the construction of the Namanga, Kajiado, Loitoktok, Emali, Ukia, Itangini, Tawa, Masi, Mwala, Kidimani Road, and explain the delay in completing the projects? B, what measures has the government put in place to ensure that construction works on these roads meet the required standards? And could the Cabinet Secretary explain the deteriorating condition of the tarmacked stretch from Emali town to Dundune Market Center, which is already riddled with numerous potholes? C, what measures has the government put in place to fast-track the project, and could the Cabinet Secretary indicate when the project will be completed? D, could the Cabinet Secretary also provide a status update on the payment of compensation to owners of the parcels of land acquired for the project, and indicate when outstanding balances will be paid? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. The last question by Senator of Isiolo, Senator Fatuma Dulo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is 045. A, could the Cabinet Secretary provide a list of all incomplete projects for the construction and upgrading of the roads undertaken by the Kenya Urban Roads Authority and the Kenya Rural Roads Authority in Isiolo County, and provide reasons for any delays or stalling of the projects? B, how much has the government set aside for these projects in the financial year 2024-2025? C, what measures has the government put in place to ensure the timely completion of those projects? And could the Cabinet Secretary provide timelines for their completion? I thank you.
Cabinet Secretary, you may respond. And since you've provided the response in a written form, if you could be very brief in your response to the 4 questions, Cabinet Secretary.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, honorable members. Let me take the question in the order that they came. And with respect to the question raised by Senator Wakili Sige on behalf of Senator James Murango, let me straight away respond as to, this is a question concerning the number of accidents reported between January and December 2024 involving vehicles transporting Mira along Mwea Embu Highway, and the number of lives lost. Mr. Speaker, sir, I've presented a table to summarize that, and like you just mentioned, so as not to be wordy, we've had those accidents with the first one at Wanguru traffic. That happened sometimes in 2024, 18th December 2024, with the victims tabulated in the table, and it was along the father's Mwea Embu Road, and we have the situational position provided. The next one that also happened within Wanguru, and that was reported within Wanguru traffic station, and that involved a Toyota Probox, registration KDL 806. Again, not to be very wordy, it is tabulated involving so many victims. Michael Philip Kashoki, who was a cyclist and was deceased. Teddy Njeru, pilot passenger, and also was unfortunately deceased. And the situation today with respect to the case going in the magistrate court in Mwea, court number 2. Again, the third one involving a vehicle KDN 233, a Toyota Hilux pickup with driver Kevin Munene, and the victims therein, Geoffrey Kinywa Nyaga, who was a rider, who also unfortunately was deceased. That happened on 27 January 2025 along Mwea Embu Road in a location called Mururi, and the situation on what's happening in court. Honorable Speaker, members, 2 cases reported in 2024, like I've mentioned, with 5 victims, 4 deceased and 1 injured, and 1 case reported in 2025 with 1 victim, 1 deceased. On the second question, honorable members, where the members asked the speed limits, signages, and on the said highways, and which continue to impede effective prosecution because the drivers do give reasons that there were no signages. Members, indeed, in the absence of speed limits on roads, present significant challenges for law enforcement and public safety. To address these challenges, the ministry has taken a multifaceted approach that includes technology, public education, and legislative action to create a safer driving environment for all road users, including Mira transporting drivers. One of the major challenges regarding speed limit signs, honorable members, and cutting across not just in Kirinyaga County, is vandalism of road signs along major highways. As a result, drivers often claim they do not see the stipulated speed limits, making it difficult to secure conviction in court for overspeeding offences. In collaboration with road agencies, we shall improve, and I undertake that we will improve signage maintenance, including anti-vandalism measures, by prioritizing regular inspection and maintenance of speed limit signs, installing tamper-proof, vandal-resistant signages, use of CCTV surveillance or community policing to monitor and prevent vandalism. I think this is more effective. Use intelligent speed adaptation systems in vehicles, event data recording, and so on and so forth. Secondly, Speaker, honorable members, will do continuous public awareness of community engagement using Ngao structures by conducting awareness campaigns to educate locals on the importance of speed limit signs, enhancing road safety, encouraging community involvement by forming local community to safeguard road signs. And thirdly, we will employ alternative speed monitoring solutions, which include implementing road markings, paintings, which are not prone to being vandalized as a backup, increasing the use of speed cameras and digital enforcement tools that do not rely solely on physical signs.
Cabinet Secretary, if I may guide you to just skim through the answers because of time.
And on the final question on the issue of what we are doing to permanently address this speeding challenge, currently Kirinyaga County has only one speed gun stationed at the Sagana traffic base. This device is shared amongst many traffic bases: Makutano in Sagana, Makutano in Mwea, Sagana, Kagio, Kutus, that road, and Keregoya, and therefore, to enhance road safety and cap speeding, the relevant agencies are actively implementing measures to ensure that we do provide more of these devices so that we can cap this challenge, particularly of speed overspeeding, by ensuring that we do proactively provide some of those speed guns. I submit. On the second question regarding, that was question 023 from Professor Tom Ojenda. Let me...
Sorry, Cabinet Secretary. Do you have a point of order, Senator Korir? No, it's out of order. You cannot have a point of order against the CS response.
The budgetary allocation by Kura and Kera on some of the roads in Kisumu County, highlighted by Senator Professor Tom Ojenda. Speaker, members, let me state that the budgetary allocation for the roads under Kura for the requested financial year, I have indicated the numbers highlighting the roads in Maseno, 10.6 kilometers, the roads in Kisumu, 123.1 kilometers, a total of 133 kilometers, with a total budgetary allocation in 2024-2025 of 258 million. I've shown the historical allocation in the year 2020, 21, 21, 22, 22, 23, and 23, 24. And the Kenya Rural Authority, KERA, has 2 roads being upgraded to bitumen standards in Kisumu, namely Maseno, Kombewa, Kalandini Road, which is 37.5 kilometers, and Koru Town Junction, a C35 road, and access to Koru Bible College, 11 kilometers road. The budgetary allocation for each of the projects, honorable members, Professor Tom, is shown: Koru Town Junction, C35, has a current budgetary allocation of 97.23 million, and Maseno, Kombewa, Kalindini, D245, and Maseno Town Roads has a current budget of 54 million in the current financial year, and we have also indicated the historical budgetary allocation for those two roads. The ministry through KERA has planned performance-based maintenance of roads which currently are in procurement process under various contracts, and also progress of works completed as provided in the table attached. And that table is annex members. And on the third question, measures taken by the ministry on the projects under KERA are to provide sufficient budgetary allocation and further engagement with the National Treasury to allocate more resources to ensure timely completion, engage with contractors to facilitate faster progress, for instance, subcontracting of works to mitigate capacity constraint on the Maseno-Kombewa Kalindini Road, sanctioning of contractors for slow progress on Koru Town Junction C35 Road, Koru Bible College, and further, the ministry shall prioritize several critical roads for upgrading to pitman standard in this county under some affirmative actions we are currently looking at. I've also, honorable members, given the table that shows ongoing projects under Kura in Kisumu, urban town, total kilometers of about 9.6, impacting on various roads from Tomboya Loop to Kenya, Kenobura, World Vision, Kenya Re, A8 Junction, totaling about 425 million, and currently work in progress at 36%. Let me then look at very quickly, and I will really, honorable members, say what we are doing to hasten the progress on some of these roads with what we have done with the securitization and therefore payment of pending bills that will help us to expedite the work. With respect to the question from the Makueni Senator Dan Maanso 040, which is the concern on the construction of Namanga, Kajiado, Loitoktok, Emali, Ukia, all the way to Kidhemani Road, and the delay in the completion of the project, and the measures the government is putting in place to ensure construction works on the road meets the standards and move quickly. Honorable members, Speaker, the ministry through Kenya National Highway Authority is currently not carrying out any construction on the listed roads links due to unavailability of funds. However, what is being carried out is maintenance work of existing roads and design, and progress is as tabulated, where in Namanga, Kajiado, we have a performance-based contract for maintenance of this section of the road that is divided into two. Isinya, Basil, 47.5 kilometers with a budgetary allocation of 137 million. And the second section is Basil, Namanga with a budgetary allocation of 353.3 million. On Loitoktok, Emali, we also have a performance-based contract for maintenance of this road, which is also divided into two sections. The section from Emali is Sineti Road, which is 57 kilometers with a budgetary allocation of 174 million. And the second section is Sineti Loitoktok, 56 kilometers, members, with a budgetary allocation of 197.9 million Kenya shillings. It's a 3-year maintenance contract which is about to lapse. On Emali Ukia, a routine maintenance contract is under procurement and works are expected to commence in May. For Mwala Kadhiani, another maintenance, periodic maintenance contract for maintenance is under procurement. Again, we will award in May. Ukia Ithangini is currently maintaining, Kenya is currently maintaining this section between Wamunyu and Nduluki Junction through a routine maintenance contract, and Masi Mwala, the section has been under maintenance through a periodic maintenance contract covering Nyumvi, Machakos, Wamunyu Road, and Makutano Mwala Road, honorable members. With respect to the designs of Kajiado Loitoktok, design was completed a while ago and will be updated once funds for construction are available. We don't have funds for that road done, Manso. We can look at that and see how to prioritize. Emali Ukia, the road was designed to completion as part of the East Africa Economic Corridor, including the following roads: Kathiani, Kamba, Mwala, Makutano, all the way down to that loop road. That spans and includes Matiliku, Kilili, Kwa Philip, Wote, Ukia Junction, and all the way to Makutano Junction and Wamuyu. The design has been completed, honorable members, and construction shall commence, and again, working on the budgetary allocation. The ongoing maintenance work are being implemented in accordance with the standard specification for roads and bridges and special specification, and further constructions of the newly designed section will also comply with relevant standards. The construction timelines for the future contracts whose designs have been completed will be set once funds again becomes available. And there are currently no ongoing construction requiring acquisition of land. However, for the future construction projects whose design have been carried out, compensation for land to be acquired will be done once funds become available. On the question number 45 by Senator Dulo, on the matter of incomplete projects for construction and upgrade of roads undertaken by Kenya Urban Roads Authority and KERA in Isiolo County, let me respond as follows, and then I'll make a general statement on the delayed project with respect to roads, not just in Isiolo, but the country at large. The Ministry of Roads, Speaker, honorable members, through Kenya Urban Roads Authority has one ongoing project for upgrading to pitment standard in Isiolo Town, funded under GOK development, and I've given the details there for this particular upgrading of Isiolo Town roads. In Isiolo Town, which is funded by GOK, 10 kilometers, we have a funding allocation of 838 million, and the contract is ongoing. Honorable members, amount certified today is 255.7 million, and the percentage of work done is 34.49%. Amount due to the contractor to date as advance payment is 83.8 million, and there is a pending bill payment of 121 million, and the challenges that include delayed disbursement of funds to contractor, road encroachment within the construction corridor, heavy rains, and so on and so forth. I really want to address, Honorable Speaker, the challenge of delayed roads due to pending bills, and say that, honorable members, when we got approval to securitize the 7 shillings additional road maintenance levy, that we did get Parliament approving sometimes in July last year, we have seen securitized that 7 shillings. That is basically selling the 7 shillings to an investor who give us money today, or who has given us money today, and they then take the right of the 7 shillings and collect discounted over a period of time. And today we have so far received 63 billion. We have allocated those fundings to pay contractors 40% of all outstanding invoices on certificates for work done. We have worked on a return to work formula through a settlement agreement, which forces contractors on receipt of the 40% to return to work as they wait the 60% payment. And I want to really assure this House that the delayed or the suspension of works that we have witnessed in the last few years is going to be something of the past. We are getting contractors back to work, and we'll see contractors working on our roads in all the counties in the country let me not say in the coming weeks, because most of the contractors are already, who have received payments, are already resuming work. And therefore, Speaker, honorable members, for ongoing projects where the impediment has been delayed payments, that is for now a story of the past. And I want to thank the House for allowing us to securitize the 7 shillings and to get the contractors back to work. This also, members, addresses the contracting GDP to construction, where with contractors pulling out of construction site, there's been no much activity in our roads, and therefore payment for cement, payment for petroleum products from our petrol station, payment for steel, employment of our youth has been really contracting too because of that contracting GDP from construction of roads. And therefore, with that facilitation and support, we should be getting back all the contractors, or we are getting back all the contractors, because let me say almost 50% as I speak here today have been paid, and the remaining 50% are being paid this week. Hopefully, we'll complete payment by next week and get all the contractors back to work, and therefore there should be no road which, on account of delayed payment, should be suspended, because we have also worked through a settlement agreement to ensure that on receipt of the 40%, they start work as we complete the listing of this securitization facility that brings in a total of 175 billion to fully pay for pending bills. Going forward, we'll then work very closely with everybody to ensure that we do provide budgets to address the milestones that we expect contractors to deliver over a period of year, or a period of a budgetary year, so that we don't get into this situation where contractors, banks, roads being very political and being really what spurs economic growth are suspended because of non-payments. Because, Honorable Chairman, members, the table with the numbers as regarding the various roads that are in question, budgetary allocation is presented. Let me beg to stop. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Cabinet Secretary. Honorable Senators, seeing the time, I will invoke Standing Order 34-2A to extend the sitting by another further 15 minutes so that we can ask some supplementary questions. And I will start with the members who had asked the question. Senator Sigay. And Senator Sigay, please be brief, and keep in mind that if you can just ask one supplementary question so that we can give the other members time.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I will beg that you allow me to ask more than one question, because on the one hand, I'm asking this supplementary question on behalf of Senator Murango. I've got 2 supplementary questions, and mine, which is entitlement to me by virtue of that standing order, I'll be very brief. Honorable CS, the response that you have given us to question 2 under the alternative speed monitoring solutions seems to be futuristic in terms of how you have captured it. Could you be able to tell the House the timelines within which this attempt will be done, that is painting of speed limits as a backup procedure or system where signs have been removed? And second, supplementary question, Honorable CS, is also as regards the implementation of the piloting of speed cameras by the agency NTSA. How long will this piloting process take, and or rather when will it be concluded, and facilitation of the complete rollout? And thirdly, Honorable Speaker, I would love the Honorable CS to comment on the rampant accidents lately reported across the country. one of which, Honorable CS, is the specific one which you went on site over the weekend in the accident in Kaplong around Bomet, where we lost 15 lives. There is rampant reporting of such accidents. I recall you made a commitment that you will give a comprehensive report as to that particular accident and also the action the ministry is undertaking to ensure that we reduce this, because part of the challenge is the role of police officers or traffic officers and the roadblocks that are unnecessarily laid along various roads, particularly in that particular road. There is the issue as regards the narrowness of the road. You made a commitment that you will give a comprehensive report. I'll be glad to hear that. Thank you, Honorable
Senator
Speaker.
Professor Senior Counsel Ojenda.
Mr. Speaker, I think that let me thank and congratulate the CS for responses that are on point, but let me also ask a supplementary question. When a CS, just can you confirm the timelines for the completion of the Moroni Junction Mamboleo Road, and whether there are any plans to improve to bitumen status the Awasi Katito Road, which is only 19 kilometers? Only 19 kilometers.
Next question by Senator Daniel Manzo.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, in my question, you know those roads under A, that network, for it to be complete and to interlink all those counties and also interlink international roads, Emali Ukia, Itangini Tower is the only place which is not tarmacked. And although it is going through routine maintenance, my question to the CS is when are you going to tarmac Emali Ukia, Itangini Tower, and all that area will be networked with the tarmac and vehicles can move freely for movement of goods and business. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Fatuma Dulo.
Thank you, Waziri, for your response. Number one, I have an issue with Kipsing Oldonyuro Bridge. I have been on that road. The contractor has abandoned the site. So, and the response to say that 60% is done is not true. It's only 20%, if I'm not wrong, that has been done. Actually, literally, she has done nothing, the contractor. Number two, page 4, I'm seeing upgrading to block standard and maintenance or whatever, the last table. Now, it's showing the budget provision is 27 million plus, but the amount paid to date is nil. And then they're saying no pending payment. I don't know what that means. If the project is complete, then the total amount should have been paid on those two projects. Now, the other thing I wanted to raise, CS, most of the roads done by national government is also claimed by county government. If you can put billboards and signs to show that it is national government project, it will make a lot of difference. Please, even for accountability purpose. So you better instruct your engineers and your DGs to instruct the contractors on the road that they should put signage wherever they are. And finally, Mr. Speaker, just final one. The roads that are ongoing, there are rains right now. And actually they are sweeping all the buildings because the drainage are not working and the works are not complete. So I think in future, when they are actually doing the work and the rains are almost coming, they should ensure that when it rains, the houses, individual houses are not affected. I thank you.
Cabinet Secretary, if you can respond to those supplementary questions first.
Let me thank you again, Speaker. And on the first supplementary question by Senator Sigei on concern of being futuristic with respect to solutions that we plan to really employ to address the rampant accidents on our roads, and how quickly are we implementing the camera, the camera solution? How quickly is the rollout? Speaker, these solutions will be implemented in a multifaceted way, because you will appreciate that some of our black spots don't just have ripples and possibly bumps to slow down or to warn road users to slow down. These are quick wins that we can implement immediately. And we've given direction after the challenge that we have lately faced on the rampant road accident, but more importantly, in black spot areas, that there is absolutely no reason why ripples and bumps and proper road signages are not placed in black spots. And black spots are known, and absolutely, there's absolutely no reason. So we'll implement those very quickly. With respect to the cameras rollout, you may or may not be aware that we're currently working on implementation of a number of cameras in our cities, and so it's not so much the testing; it's more of the budget. And so we will move quickly to ensure that we do deterrent when road users know that our cameras are available and watching them, or when we know we are being watched, we tend to really do what is right. So we'll work to ensure that we provide budgets, and rather than just have one camera on that road, if we had 4, 5, 6 mobile cameras, and road users for deterrent purposes do not quite know where the camera is because they are mobile, we should suddenly bring up the level of discipline and be able to curtail the accidents, the rampant accidents on our roads rather. With respect to some of the things we are doing, honorable members, you know, we employ the ALCOB law for drunken driving, and there were investigations are still going on of drunk drivers causing accidents like the one that happened along Kablong Road. And what we have done is finalize the regulations on the ALCOB law, because previously when we employed ALCOB law and before it was outlawed in Milimani Court in 2014, the Traffic Act did not cover ALCOB law as a tool that could be employed, because it was not covered as an offense under the Traffic Act. So what we've done is Parliament has since amended the Act. We've developed regulations that are currently in the AG's office, and we hope to gazette this week, and thereafter introduce ALCOB laws to ensure that we don't have drunken drivers really endangering lives of our road users for that matter. The issue is with the Traffic Act. The Traffic Act is under NTSA, while the implementing agency or the enforcement agency is under Interior. So those are some of the things we are working to polish up so that we can address this challenge on the carnage in our roads of innocent lives. As regarding supplementary question, Awasi, is it Awasi Moroni? Awasi Katitu. Let me not make a commitment on the floor of the House, because a number of these require budgetary scrutiny. We need to work very closely together. Professor, we can sit down and look at level of accommodation on the basis of prioritization of roads in the county. But more importantly, to say we currently have commitments on our ongoing projects totaling to about 2.1 trillion Kenya shillings. And for the budgeted allocation of about 50 million every year, that would take us about, 20, 30 years. I don't want to say 40 years, because 2 trillion divided by 50 is 40. And so we really need to tread very carefully and do proper prioritization, do proper affirmative to ensure that we are building Kenya in an equitable way. So allow me, Speaker, Honorable Ochienda,